And welcome back to Black Friday Deals and Conversations. I'm Cyrus Webb. Glad you all could join us for Cyrus Webb Presents today. I have 3 great hours coming up for you guys, and I'm kicking it off with my friend, author Dawn Marie Westmoreland. We're talking to her not only about her new workbook and how it's been able to help individuals already be able to know their rights, but also what all of us can do, but also those as we're heading into a new year, what she wants you all to know about the importance of not only being able to stand up for yourself, but also others as well. Don, glad to have you kick off this block with us. I'm going to go ahead and connect with our friends on Amazon. We'll get started, okay?
Sounds good, Cyrus. Always good to work with you.
Oh, I appreciate that. Want to say, too, for those who are joining us on Facebook, on YouTube, on Twitter, we're glad to have all of you with us. Those tuned in on LinkedIn as well, glad you all could be with us. Go ahead and make sure we have our settings good on Facebook now that I'm showing that we are live over there on Facebook, making sure that we're all set and that it's set to Don, one thing I've noticed with Facebook is it automatically goes to just your friends can see it when you go live now, unless you change it to public. So I always have to go in and
Oh,
change that, yeah, before before we go on, to make sure that it shows up to everybody, so that everybody can enjoy these conversations. We got that set now. I'm going to go ahead and connect with Amazon Live and bring in our audience over there. Hello, everyone, and you are watching Cyrus Webb Presents here on Amazon Live. I'm your host, Cyrus Webb. Glad you guys could join us once again for Black Friday Deals and Conversations. I'm going to be on with you guys now for 3 hours in this block. I'll be on with you all through 8 p.m. today with different segments, but I'm excited about this next 3 hours because we're going to be able to mix things up with not only, of course, some great tech items for you guys, some things that are great for you that are e-readers to not only be able to read on your phone, but also on your tablet, have some deals for that, but also some great authors as well. And we're kicking it off with my friend, Dawn Marie Westmoreland. She's celebrating this book. You guys see it there. It is a workbook that is perfect, I think, for all of us. I'm going to go ahead and highlight it in the carousel for those joining us on Amazon. Stand Up to Workplace Bullying and Discrimination. You guys can see it there. We're going to talk to Dawn not only about the writing of this book, but also how she's been able to empower others to know their rights, but also remind us all as to what we can do as well. For those who don't have Dawn's workbook, you guys can get it. You guys can see it there on Amazon, both in the print edition as I have it, but also the Kindle edition. Now, if you're looking for a great Kindle today, believe it or not, because it is Black Friday, they are on sale right now. You can get this Kindle that I have, which is the Fire 7, for only $34.99 today. So it's a great deal for you guys who are looking to be able to. And I have to be honest, I have a lot of books on mine, but I also have Amazon Music on mine as well. You guys can see. I'm going to go ahead and open up my Kindle there. But I love the fact that you're able to be able to store not only your Kindle, it also has the app for kids on it as well. But again, the Kindle Fire is only $34.99 today for Black Friday. A great deal for you guys to be able to get. Also, the laptop that I'm using is another great way to be able to enjoy your Kindle on PC. I'm using the ByteCool laptop today. Excited to be able to share it. It is on sale today for $279. So another great deal, whether you're looking for a laptop, a Kindle, a way to be able to take your books with you on the go. These are two great options. As I mentioned, though, to kick off this hour, we're excited to welcome Dawn Marie Westmoreland to our program. Don has been on with us here at Amazon Live before, talking with us about the workbook, but also about the message for all of us. Don, thank you so much again for the time. Really appreciate it.
Cyrus, always good to work with you. I've been with you since 2015.
Wow. Well, and I appreciate that. Appreciate the time. So I want to talk about this book again. Stand Up to Workplace Bullying and Discrimination again is the book. It is an important message for us, for sure, Don. Let's let our audience know, for those who are just now finding out about you, what led you to be able to write the workbook?
Well, I like to give the short story because really people want to know what's in it for them. Basically, I stood up to a large federal agency that bullied me and retaliated against me. And I went through some extreme bullying and it harmed me physically, mentally. And with my experience, now I have over 30 years of HR, I decided to teach other people how to stand up to workplace bullying and discrimination because I had a successful outcome. And it's really important for people to realize that bullying is not illegal in the United States and discrimination is.
Wow. Let's talk about that because I mean, when we think about discrimination, I mean, you would automatically think or hope, maybe I should say, that no
Mhm.
one would want to see themselves discriminated against or others. However, Don, you talk about in the book, and I think we see it all the time in life, that unfortunately not everyone is willing to take a stand for others. They feel like, hey, if it doesn't affect me, why should I get involved? Why is it that you've been able to share with people the importance of them speaking up for others?
Well, let me give you a really good example because, I
Mhm.
do consulting on respectful and safe work environments. I've had clients I've worked with that have lost their jobs. They have children, then they have to go on the welfare system. It has bullying and discrimination, people losing their jobs for speaking up. They can, you know, so easily lose their home. I mean, I've worked with people who've had to live in a horse stall. They lost their home, where they rented, they had no money. I've had, people have to get on the welfare system. That touches each and every one of us, Cyrus.
Yeah, yeah. Such a great point, and such a great reminder, I think, for all of us, Don, as to why this matters. I love the fact that you don't just discuss the problem of
Mhm.
workplace bullying and discrimination, but also the solutions. I want to say hello to
Yeah.
Lawana, and Lawana says this on the Facebook side of our program,
Mhm.
Don. This is a much needed conversation. Workplace hostility is a real thing that we must rise against, and that's exactly what you've done here. Talk to us
Yeah.
about the solutions because I love the fact, I'm a person, I'm all about, okay, admitting there's an issue, right? But a lot
Yeah.
of times what's missing from the conversation is, okay, well, we know this is happening, so what do we do? You show us in the workbook, Don, what we do. Talk to us about what that was like for you to pull these resources together.
All right. Well, people all the time don't know the difference between bullying and discrimination. So I break it down in really simple layman terms and I explain what each one is. And, I was able to get a settlement without signing a non disclosure agreement to tell my story because of my strategies. Now, I shared that, how I did that, but what I teach people to do is a lot of documentation.
Mm,
And the documentation in just writing, in a black notebook, what happened today, it's different strategies of, how to keep this evidence, how to write up this evidence, to keep it, not to keep it in the workplace, to take it. It may qualify for discrimination. You can always contact an employment attorney, and many of them will, do it for free, a consultation. And I've even had people document it and show it to their employers, and they end up getting some kind of a fair outcome, whether it's,
mm,
moved into a different department, a settlement. And so, yeah, I have different templates and samples of, how to do the documentation. But even more so, we talk about starting off, you have to have courage. And I get into great detail about you have to have courage because let's be real, when you speak up for yourself or speak up for somebody else, the truth is that you could get bullied or discriminated against,
right.
retaliation, and you've got to have courage. And I don't ever use the word be fearless. I say, hey, it's okay. Feel the fear and be empowered, be educated, because everybody I've ever taught how to stand up to bullying and discrimination in the workplace has used it, had great outcomes, and then if they moved on to another job, they also knew what to do if the problem arose.
Yeah, I think that's it, and I love the fact that you talk about that, Don, because you're right. It's not about. I mean, it's real. It's being realistic about what can happen. If it happened to one
Yeah.
person, of course, it could happen to any of us. But then, of course, being able to have that proof, to be able to have that
Mhm.
information, is also so valuable. I want to thank those. We have people piling in here on the Amazon Live side. Appreciate you guys being with us. If you guys are just coming in, want to kind of catch you guys up. This is our Black Friday deals and conversations. We're on the conversations part right now. Today we're talking to Dawn Marie Westmoreland. She is the author of this workbook that I have highlighted right here on Amazon Live. The Kindle as well as the paperback edition is available, and that is Stand Up to Workplace Bullying and Discrimination. You guys can see it there. We have Dawn here to talk to us about what led her to be able to put out the workbook, but also what it's been like for her to see the response. Let's talk about the response for a moment, Dawn. I mean, I think any author, when they put out a book, you never know what's going to happen, right? So, what has it been like
Yes.
for you to see the response to this particular workbook?
Oh my gosh, what a good question. Well, I want to help, employees and employers have safe and respectful work environments. It works on both sides because there's a lot of people that don't want to have toxic work environments. And even OSHA, our federal agency, says that people should work in safe work environments. I've just been very blessed. I've had behavioral consultants reach out and commend me, and I've been lauded by mental health professionals, employment attorneys. I mean, that really just blows me in a way. It blows me away, Cyrus, in such a good way,
Yeah.
because I took my time writing it, and it's very comprehensive. And people that read it, they realize it's comprehensive. I don't leave anything out.
And I think that again is a big part here. And I love too the way it is segmented out because the term discrimination itself is broad, which a lot of people may not think about. We automatically go to racial, which that is a biggie, but you also
Hmm.
address, age discrimination, another biggie that is
Yeah.
in the book. You say this in chapter 5 of the workbook, Don. Employment discrimination in the workplace, you say in age discrimination, if you are 40 years old or over and are being treated less favorably because of your age, you may be experiencing what the Equal Employment Opportunity Commission calls age discrimination. The Age Discrimination in Employment Act forbids discrimination against people who are 40 years old or older. The EEOC states that some states do have laws that protect younger workers from age discrimination. Now, the reason why I chose to read that part, there are two things in that paragraph, Don, I bet most of our audience did not know. First of all, the age requirement was considered old these days. So I reached that 6 years ago. So I read this and I thought, wait a minute, 40, I'm 46. you know, but the reason I bring that up, and then the second thing is that there are laws there that protect younger workers from this too. Have you
Mhm.
found that that's the case, Don? That people will read something and say, "Wow, I didn't know that. I didn't know there was even a
Oh,
law that says you can't discriminate, on me because of my being too old or too young."
yeah. Cyrus, I realized, as I started talking to people and, interviewing people and such, on my radio show, that not everybody knows that, for example, sexual harassment, you think it's between a man and a woman. It could be between two men. It could be between a woman, and race discrimination. It's not two different races necessarily. It could be a white person turning in another white person for racial discrimination.
Mm,
So a lot of people just assume, it's a black and white thing, and no, it's not.
yeah. I think that's it, and I think that's the big thing. You mentioned the radio show, and this is a great platform for us to bring this up as well.
Thank
The
you.
only thing Amazon does not like us to do, I always remind people, we're not going to take people away from Amazon to buy the book. We definitely want them to get the book there. But you have other platforms. You have this book. But talk to our audience about the radio show, Don, if they're not familiar with it, about the guests you've been able to have. I know I keep up with it through Facebook. But what has that been like for you to use your platform that way?
Well, it's been such an honor because, I first started out about 3 years ago, 3.5 years ago, doing a podcast. And then since August of, wow, it's been about a year and a half, I've been a radio talk host here in Asheville, North Carolina. It's community radio grassroots. And it's called The Empowered Whistleblower, which is all about safe and respectful work environments. And I guess you could say my claim to fame and one of my heroines has been Erin Brockovich. I met her 3.5 years ago. I packed my suitcase, went out, met her at a leadership conference, set my mind to it that I would get her to endorse me, and I interviewed her. So that was really exciting. But I have to tell you, the last interview I did was with a law professor up in, I think it was Manhattan area just a couple weeks ago, and just talking about hiring people that have autism in the workplace.
Mm,
So many wonderful people, so many great opportunities to connect and broadcast other people because they're doing great things.
yeah. And we're glad that you have that platform to do that. We're going to remind our audience, Don, how they can be able to stay connected with you, as well as, of course, listen to the broadcast. Again, I want to remind everyone you are listening and watching Black Friday Deals and Conversations here on Amazon Live. We also are streaming on other platforms, but Amazon Live is where we're broadcasting mainly today. We're kicking off this series of conversations with author and speaker and media personality, Dawn Marie Westmoreland. We're talking about her workbook, Stand Up to Workplace Bullying and Discrimination. You guys see it there. It's available in print as well as the Kindle edition. So definitely make sure you guys do click below to be able to get your own copy of it. Going into a new year for you, Dawn, what are you looking forward to as you continue to share the message?
Well, one of the things I'm going to pick up, because I get bored easy and I like challenges, is doing more paid public speaking. That's a big thing. I want to continue on doing the radio host because I think it's important to reach out to so many people, and because the show's syndicated, up to 200 radio stations in the Pacifica Network can hear the show. And as I said earlier, Cyrus, there's so many very talented, gifted, good people out there doing good work, and I love featuring them.
Well, it gives us something to be able to look forward to. As the message continues, though, for you, I think, Dawn, the other thing is you could have very easily, well, done two things. One, you could have not told anybody what you experienced, right? You could have gone on like a lot of people do and just, leave that job, go get another one, and deal with that experience yourself. But you've chosen to share your personal experience, but also to show how other people, because you give other examples in the book too, have been able to rise above it. Is it also important for our audience to know not to let those episodes define them?
Yeah, absolutely. Because, I'm retired from the Air Force and I spent 20 years in the Air Force with a whole bunch of men. And I loved it. I mean, it was great. It taught me resiliency, and it just taught me a lot about leadership.
Hmm.
Yeah, you can't let it define you. I mean,
Yeah.
people are amazed when I tell them, here I'm this strong female, and it brought me to my knees. It wrecked my mental health and everything. And I'm very transparent about, I know what it feels like, to lose my home, to spend a few days in the mental health ward because I didn't feel safe, and my mental health well-being was not good at that time. And then to overcome, and I think it's important not just to survive, but to thrive, and even more so is to thrive and help other people, empower them, educate them.
Well, you've definitely been able to do that. David on Facebook, hello to you, David. Thank you so much for being with us live. David said it's nice to hear from someone with a purpose in her life and working for good. David, I cannot agree with you more. It is such an important thing, and that's why we're glad that we could share this as people are doing shopping here online, here on Amazon, looking for books that can be, of course, motivational or inspiring for others, but also messages for themselves. That's why we're so glad, Dawn, we can spread the word about your workbook, because people need this. This is not something that's unfortunately done in the vacuum. All across this country, people are experiencing this. And you show it in the book. It's men and women, different ages. And it's really up to us then, as I said in the beginning, to make a difference, but also to make a decision. Are we going to just allow this to happen and not speak up when we know it's wrong? Or will we use the tools that are at our availability to be able to make a difference? And that's what you give us in this book. Did you know going into it, Dawn, that so much of yourself would be in it?
Did I know so much would be what?
Did you notice? Did you know from the beginning that so much of yourself would be in this workbook?
Oh, yes, yes, I did. I mean, it's my second book, and I've actually written a third one. But the thing is that I didn't want it to be all about me. Because a lot of people talk about they've been bullied and they've been mistreated, and I know that, and I honor everybody's experience. I really wanted to bring in a lot of my clients and people I interviewed. I met a lot of people over the last 8 years, because this happened in 2013. And so I want to bring in their stories, because it's not just all about me. I mean, there's wonderful stories of people overcoming and also making smart decisions, like leaving a toxic job that's not worth staying in.
Mm-hmm. So true. Tiffany on Facebook. Tiffany, thank you so much for joining us live. Tiffany says, so many people dealing with this very thing. Glad Dawn is sharing her experience and the workbook. We appreciate that, Tiffany, and appreciate you being with us live here on this Black Friday. So we're going to remind our audience, Dawn, how they can stay connected with you. But I want to once again say, again, the workbook is Stand Up to Workplace Bullying and Discrimination. You guys see it there. I have it highlighted there on Amazon. You guys can get either the paperback or the Kindle edition of it. The Kindle edition is only $9.99. And as I mentioned, if you guys are looking for a Kindle, you'll see it right next to Don's book, the one that is on sale today. But it also can be read on your Kindle on PC, which is a free app you can download directly to your computer or to your other devices as well. Don, how can they stay connected with you?
Oh gosh, they can go to LinkedIn. Well, let me just say they can go to my website, workplacebullyingsupport.com. That'll take you to everything, the radio, my books,
Mm-hmm.
LinkedIn, Facebook. And I've also mentioned that, the first 5 people that buy the book, I will give them 30 minutes of my time on Zoom or a call to talk about the book if they have questions or like to know more about the book.
All right. Well, it's a great, great deal. So make sure you guys are definitely follow. I saw that post today on Facebook. So make sure you guys do head over there. Make sure you guys take advantage of that. All the information from Dawn is there on her Facebook page as well. She has me tagged. You can also go to my page too. Dawn, glad that we could kick off this hour with you. Thank you so much for being on with us today and looking forward to our next chat together.
Thank you. I can't think of a better person to spend the morning with than you, Cyrus. Take care.
Hey, thank you. I appreciate that. Don, appreciate that. And we thank you all for watching right here at Black Friday Deals and Conversations. We are kicking things off today. Earlier, if you missed our segment here on Amazon Live, we were sharing you guys some great ways to get organized as you guys are buying more stuff. I shared with you guys about 30 different products that I personally use myself that I think are really good to be able to help you guys get organized. During this segment, though, in the next 3 hours, you will be hearing from some authors who have books available here on Amazon, but also we're sharing with you guys some great ways to be able to enjoy your books as well as reading as well. Before my conversation with Don, you notice I mentioned to you guys about the Kindle that is on sale right now. Again, that is the Kindle that I personally have. That is this one, my Kindle 7. It is available right now on sale for $34.99, which is a really cool deal. It's 30% off. It's 30% off on this Black Friday, so you guys can take advantage of that. I have, of course, the Kindle app. I also have my Amazon Music app on here too that I can also listen to my podcast on. But you can also be able to download other apps that you use as well. Remember, in fact, I was having a conversation just today with someone. They were asking me if you could go online with this, and of course, you can. You can be able to browse the internet on it as well. Do anything you probably would be able to do on your tablet. You can do it with this particular Kindle. Again, this is the Kindle 7. It's on sale right now for $34.99. I have it highlighted right now on the carousel. You all can take a look at that. Also, the computer that I'm using for this broadcast is by ByteCool. This is my ByteCool computer. It is on sale right now for $279. I have it highlighted in the carousel there on Amazon now. You guys can pick this up. It's great for streaming. Gives you really clear stream. It's a really easy way to be connected to the internet, and of course to be able to do the things like you're able to do, like gaming, and as well as, of course, watching movies. It's good for that too. It's a really great deal. It does come with Windows preloaded on it, which is really cool. As well as, of course, for those who are Word users like me, you're able to easily use Word on this one as well. Again, it's my ByteCool computer. That's what I'm powering this segment by today, as we're bringing you guys Black Friday deals and conversations. And I said it's $279. Have some other items I'm going to be sharing with you guys a little bit later. So definitely make sure you guys stay tuned for that. Again, we appreciate Dawn Marie Westmoreland for joining us for the first part of this hour, talking with us about her workbook, Stand Up to Workplace Bullying and Discrimination. We're about to bring in our next guest, which is someone who's also released a book this year, her very first book. I'm excited to be able to have her back on Amazon Live today. We're talking about Lisa Yolanda George. It's how you guys have gotten to know her. I don't know her by that name. I'm going to be quite honest with you. I know Lisa G. That's what I know. I know Lisa G. G-E-E. That's what I know. But we will go by what I guess is her government name. It's the name on the book right here. Lisa Yolanda George, celebrating life, celebrating youth. Lisa George, how are you?
I'm good, but I don't know. What's my name, though? Is it Lisa G? He said, what are we going by today?
How about we just say Lisa?
Okay, we'll just go by Lisa. You're so
Well,
funny.
it is great to see you again, my friend. I want to say first of all how proud I am of you and all you've done this year. It's always been great to watch you since we've known each other a very long time. But you've done a lot this year. You've released a book. I mean, you were on a speaking tour. You have other projects you're working on, still doing your celebrity publicist thing. What has this year been like for you to reflect on, Lisa?
I feel very accomplished. Sometime last year, I was in a mindset group, and I realized that most of my life I had just been going after minimal goals. I wasn't
Mhm.
stretching myself. I wasn't walking in my power, and I spent a lot of time crying, which was cool. It's good to realize that you are not walking in your power, because then you have an opportunity, if you desire to do so. And so
Yeah.
I decided I was going to do that. And so once I realized that, sometime last year, I can't remember when it was, I started. And then this year, I just ran. Even though there were a lot of trying things, there were a few deaths of loved ones. Of course, we're still in this pandemic, and just a lot of other things that were really trying and took me to my knees. But every
Mm.
single time, I chose to go there, not stay there, but keep taking steps forward. So I've actually had a lot of fun. I'm very, very proud of myself.
You should be. I want to say hello to Tracy. Tracy, thank you so much for joining us live there on Facebook. Thank you all for those who are coming in also on Amazon Live. I want to remind you, if you guys are not following us already on Amazon, make sure you guys click that follow button. We're here 7 days a week. 7 days a week here with Cyrus Webb Presents on Amazon Live. Make sure you guys do click the follow button and also let us know where you're joining us from today because we're bringing you guys Black Friday deals and conversations. We're beginning our conversation now with Lisa Yolanda George, aka Lisa G, the author of this book, Celebrating Life, Celebrating You. Let's get it back in the shot. There we go. Lawana says, Lisa, we are kindred spirits in the Celebrate You world. Congrats on your new book. She's the co-founder of the organization Celebrate You. So I want to talk about the book because that is just one of the things you've done this year. As I mentioned, you had a speaking tour that you were on. What led you to writing Celebrating Life, Celebrating You, Lisa?
It's just a continuation of who I am, as you and I have talked about before. I'm always trying to find that light. Regardless of what's going on, I'm going to recalibrate. Again, I'll go there, but not stay there. And while I'm journeying through whatever, what can I celebrate? Because I found in celebrating things, there is some empowerment in that. So if I'm having a bad day and I just cleaned the kitchen, then I'm actually going to celebrate that, because there are some people who did it. Not that there's any judgment with that, but I made a movement forward. So how about not celebrate it? Because it's
Yeah.
kind of daunting to wait till the end, when you've put out an album or when you've created that movie or when you wrote the book. But along the journey, there were so many other things that you did. So why not celebrate that? Because truly, again, I find that it's so empowering
Mm.
to do so. And then we should celebrate the good things in our life. We're taught to focus on the negative things. And I don't watch the news anymore in the morning, because you watch the news and there are all these drab things. And, it's just, woe is me. That's a big thing, right? So I
Mhm.
like to celebrate things also, just to balance it all. We do need that balance.
Well, I think that that's true about the balance, but I also think it's interesting what you said, Lisa, about where our focus typically is. And you're right, as human beings, there is that saying, even in our industry, if it bleeds, it leads, right?
Yeah.
So, I mean, so that is one of the things, unfortunately. But in the book, you're able to, and it's interesting looking at the cover of it. There we go. Looking at the cover of it, because there you have yourself looking in the mirror, and this book is very reflective. You share, some of the things you've gone through, the things you felt. What was it like for you to kind of open your diary to the world and to let us know into what you were feeling?
I'm still journeying through that as well, because I was brought up to not hang anything on the clothesline. You're supposed to keep everything to yourself. And I started questioning that. Like, I don't have anything illegal or immoral that I'm sharing. And I don't have anything illegal hiding, by the way, people. But, so what's wrong with sharing things? Because I've found when other people have shared things, there are times when I've gotten something, from it. So I've just gotten bolder with sharing. I'm still learning how to go through it. When I get stopped on the street, people DM me, send me messages in other kind of ways. And I'm still kind of honestly shy when they talk to me about it. Because I'm thinking, are they talking about me? And they've actually, some of the comments have sent me back to my books because I can't believe how vulnerable I was. And I say that because when they're talking to me, they're very vulnerable and they're talking. I'm thinking, what in the world did I share that has them being this vulnerable? So I'm still going through it, but I love it because I think vulnerability is a really sexy thing. Ooh, that's
Yeah.
cool. I'm gonna hashtag that. Can we hashtag that?
You can hashtag whatever you'd like. We live in a free country, and I think it is. But vulnerability, and it's for men and women, I should say too.
Yes.
And I think both can experience it as we see, even in the book. So I want to talk about some of the elements you address because part of it is being able to realize that it's okay. It's okay to feel okay, but it's also okay just to be able to enjoy the moment. You
Right.
are someone who is known for being present, Lisa. But why is it so important for you to make sure that you are enjoying the here and now?
Because life truly can just pass us by. You know, sometimes we get up in the morning and before we know it, it's nighttime. Or a lot of us are saying, wow, here comes 2022. And decades will pass. You will go, oh my goodness, your children are so grown. And there are reasons why we're saying that because time truly does feel like it's flying. And in my opinion, if you aren't active in your living and present in your living, it'll fly by faster. So you won't even notice things like I'm here with you right now. I literally haven't thought about anything else that I'm supposed to do today, what I'm supposed to do tomorrow. And I used to do that. But by being here, I can really embrace everything about this moment and get what I'm supposed to get from it. So I encourage being present and I love it.
And that's one of the things I think that's so interesting. I should mention that Lisa's book is available in paperback and Kindle. You'll notice both of them are in the carousel here on Amazon Live. The Kindle edition is only 99 cents right now, only 99 cents. So, of course, if you guys don't have a Kindle, today is the perfect day to be able to buy a Kindle because it is on Black Friday special. So make sure you guys, I actually have both. When the book first came out, I got the Kindle edition. But then I also have the paperback edition as well. If you guys missed it earlier, Amazon does have the Kindle available on sale right now for only $34.99. So it's a great way for you guys to be able to pick up a Kindle, be able to get. You can see I have a lot of books on mine. You can be able to carry books easily. You see, Lisa has her book there as well. So, Lisa, have you gotten used? Okay, let's talk about what you have in your hands there for a second. You literally have a book with your name on it, with your story in it.
Yeah.
Have you been able to sit with that?
Uh, and I love it. I sometimes I've posted, I hope this never gets old, because it is an accomplishment. I have written 3.5 books, but I've published one. And that's pretty huge. I think I included, a lot of us don't complete projects, for different reasons. Is it fear? Is it self-sabotage? Whatever reason. We don't, maybe I shouldn't say all of, but there are those of us who haven't and those of us who won't. One of my mentors says that we should rob the grave of our gifts because a lot of us take our gifts to our graves. There are a lot of unsung songs, movies, dreams, ways that we could have helped people just in those graves. That's one of the richest places on earth. So for me to have finished this, it's just beautiful to me. And I'm not even going to be shameful about it, or feel shameful about it. It's beautiful for me to have finished it because I was a self-sabotaging person. I claimed to be a recovering self-sabotaging person, and I'm working through that. So to have this here, and that honesty in itself is to encourage someone else who hasn't finished something or started something to go for it. It feels really great, and I really hope I don't get used to it. I will add that I am putting out some more, and this completed book is motivation for me to do that and some other things in my life.
Good deal. Tiffany, who's joining us on Facebook, says nice cover. Totally agree with you there. Tiffany, it is really a beautiful cover. I will say this, and it's interesting having you back on the program, Lisa. If you know me, I'm likely to say anything. But one thing that has surprised me a bit, I think there are so many people, and I think you would agree with this, that there are so many people who don't do because they're waiting on the right time, right? They wanted something to be just perfect, or it's not the right time. We're still dealing with this pandemic thing. I don't know. I should just wait till that's all over again before I do whatever. what makes you have the sense of urgency? You mentioned that beautiful quote about robbing the grave, but what makes you make that personal for you?
Just as part of my journey, again, being intentional and then just experiencing things. I tend to look at what's going on around me as clues as to what I should be doing. So using the pandemic, I was just looking at the numbers. I don't watch the numbers on a regular because that's too much for me. I try to be aware but not consume it all.
Hmm.
But I looked at it earlier and the numbers I think are about to be in the US. I think it's something like 407,000 last year deaths, and last year was 300 something. That's in our face. That's reality. We don't always do too well with cautionary tales, but I do pay attention to some cautionary tales because there is actual fact, that we all have a date when we're no longer going to be here. A cousin of mine died in a tragic car accident a few months ago, and that was a reminder again, like we just don't know. So what do you want to do? And I had to ask myself my question. I ask myself that question all the time. And in the past, I haven't always heeded the cautionary tales, I'm like, yeah, I'm immortal. I'm going to be here forever. Or whatever it is that we think when we don't do stuff. But again, that's not the fact. I really do want to leave things here. I want things to outlive me. I believe I'm here for a reason. And I will only feel really cool about myself if I satisfy most, if not all of my reason for being here.
Love
So
that.
that's all my motivation.
Yeah. I want to talk about one of the things that you call seasoning in the book here, Lisa. But I want to say for those who are just tuning in, you're watching Cyrus Ware Presents Black Friday Deals and Conversations on Amazon Live. But we're also streaming other places too. So I want to recognize Facebook, YouTube, LinkedIn, and Twitter. I appreciate you guys for being on with us today. I see the love there on YouTube. I appreciate you guys there. Thank you all so much for being with us on Amazon Live as well. Our guest for this segment is Lisa Yolanda George. Sounds so proper. Lisa Yolanda George is our guest for this segment. She's Lisa G to me, but y'all call her Lisa Yolanda George. We're talking about her book, Celebrating Life, Celebrating You. I have a new camera here, Lisa, so I'm still trying to get used to it. We're going to be putting this thing.
You're a
Black
mess.
Friday deal I got. It is. I want to make sure. I'm still trying to figure out. Okay, is it here? Is it here?
Right,
Okay,
right.
I want to talk about what you called a seasoning in life. In the chapter of your book, Celebrating Life, Celebrating You, Breath and Friendships, you say this on page 14, Lisa. Friendships are like the seasonings when cooking. They help make the dish. And since I'm on both trajectory to realign myself toward the end goal of serving out my wife, personnel changes occurred. Let's be clear. Personnel changes that needed to be made for others regarding me were okay and respected. I want to talk about that
Yeah.
because I've been seeing some interesting posts online from other people, and I'm sure you've seen this too, that it's okay for people to shift seats in your life.
Yes.
Not everyone still is going to be first class. Not everyone's still going to be able to get front seats at the concert. Somebody has to go back to the nosebleed. How important has that been for you? How easy has it been for you to make those adjustments?
I journeyed. Everything is a journey, and especially for me. So there was a time when I held on to relationships, friendships for longer than they were supposed to. I remember one in particular, another good friend of mine said, Lisa, you've held on to this to the point where it's actually decayed. And that just hit me because, how are we serving each other if our friendship is in a place of decay? And, we all scream that, or not scream, but the seasons, was it seasons? How's it every time there's a season? The one with the seasons change and there's
Yeah.
a time, reason, and season. There we go. Time, reason, and season. And so I've learned and I'm embracing, if we could just kind of flow with that, it'll be easier. There truly is a time, reason, and season. But by holding on to things, we're not serving ourselves. A lot of times it's for familiarity and it's understandable, but we're not serving ourselves. And so I like to use can you clench your fist with me? And whoever's watching, clench your fists. When we're holding on to stuff that we're not supposed to, that takes a lot of strength, but just release it. And that doesn't require it doesn't require anything actually. But when we release, we leave room for something else to come. So it's easier for me to do it now. And I try to move in love with it, because again, not look at it as something that's bad that's happening. We're going to grieve the ending of something
Yeah.
But it's just a transition, just go with it. Because what I've learned is there are other people who are for us and me for them. And we connect. And it's something really beautiful. So just let go. And I'm saying this to myself too, just let go. Well, don't force anything. Whenever we force something, then it's not going to be the thing that's for us.
Such a great point. Such a great reminder for sure. So, Lisa, I want to ask you this as we wrap up here. For people who are just now discovering the book, and again, it is available in print as well as the Kindle edition.
Yeah.
For those who are just now discovering, what do you hope it does for them? I mean, you share a bit of yourself in it, but what do you hope they're able to learn from you and to be able to realize about themselves by reading
I hope they get what is for them. What I'm learning in my interaction with people is that when it connects with them, they get what they're supposed to. So, and it's just like art, and or a song. Everyone hears the same lyrics, but the interpretation is different. So it's fascinating to me. I hope that each person, it helps them expand into greater version of themselves. I hope it helps them learn to be more vulnerable, more honest, because those are all key things that we need. And I just hope it helps them have a greater life, truthfully, because I think we all can help each other do that. And I'd love to chat with people. People hit me in my DM and online and talk about it. So I'd love to have those vulnerable conversations with people. So connect with me. And that's not a whatever thing. I really do love talking about it. So connect with me.
Lawana says, "Open up and position yourself to receive. Blessings can't come to a clenched fist." That's
Yeah.
so true.
Yeah.
Tracy says, "That's good." I mean, it really is, and I think it's an important thing. And I like that analogy you used about the fist because
Yeah.
it does take a lot more effort sometimes
Mhm.
to let go. However, I might add this, and I'm curious as to your thoughts about this, Lisa. It is a The fear does come into the unknown too. So when you open yourself up, you really don't know what's going to happen on the other side of that. And I'm talking more broadly in life and writing a book or pursuing a new career. You don't know. How have you not been stopped by the fear of
I feel fear a lot, which I now know is awesome, because I wasn't afraid to get on this call because I've done it enough times. I'm not going to be afraid. My son and I are going to go somewhere in a little bit. I'm not going to be afraid to get in the car because it's just get in the car. So we don't fear the things that we're used to or the things that are familiar. Sometimes, because there are the times when fear is truly trying to help us out and we need to run. So I'm not talking about that one. But when it comes to trying something different or maybe walking into our divine walk, fear is going to come because it's really there to protect us. Really, it's
it?
just there to protect us. And sometimes it's like, oh no, don't go there. That might hurt you, or that might this. But most of the time, I've seen with things on that's in our divine space, it wasn't something to be afraid of anyway. And I need to find that analogy that says the three things that can happen. But one is either something that you can handle, or two is something that will not happen. And I can't remember what the third one is. So when I find it and I come back on your show, I'll tell your peoples. But yeah, so on the other side of fear are greater things. With using the book as an example, I'm so proud of myself. So now there are these other areas of my life where I'm doing other things and people they're getting things out of it. But this would never have come about if I had let fear stop me. And there were several times when I just kind of thought, why am I doing this? Who cares? Whatever it is. And that's the committee. There's things coming to protect us. So I feel the fear and I like it. I'm thankful, using what we were talking about earlier about friends being seasoned, that I have the people in my life who encourage me when I am too afraid to keep going, or that whether they push me, walk with me, remind me of something that I've done, whatever. We need the right people in our life, and there is really that to help us push past fear. But again, acknowledging that fear is going to come about when we're doing something that's not in a familiar space. It's there to protect us, but we just walk on by. Oh, we should sing. Walk on. No? Okay.
No, we have copyright things here at Amazon, so no, we won't be singing. You will be muted. But no, Lisa, that is a really good point, though. Seriously, I mean, I think we need to be able to take the chances. I think with this being smart. Of course, that's all, if we can be. Not everyone can.
Hmm.
Be as smart as you can be personally. But I think to realize what can come again once you open up. I think that is the beautiful thing there. Again, everyone, Lisa Yolanda George has been our guest, or Lisa G, depending on what social media platform, and she also has some other ones. If you guys are following us there on Twitter, I see you guys on Twitter. You'll see she is connecting you to that person. The connecting you to person is that's this person right here. So, Lisa, where's the best place for them to be able to stay connected with you?
So it's by I believe it's by my name. It's Lisa Yolanda George, and it's Carpe Diems and stuff. And there's a play on that. Carpe Diem. Most of us knows what that means. So it's Carpe Diems and stuff.com, and it's by my name. So if you can go, there's my website, Facebook, Instagram, and again, people are in the DMs talking to me, and I love it. So please connect with me. I'd love to learn from you as well.
All right, Lisa. Always a pleasure being able to catch up with you. Glad you could be with us, and looking forward to our next chat together.
Likewise. Thank you for having me. Have a great day. What did you say? 6 hours? 3 hours? How long are you on?
Total of 10, but who's counting?
Okay. All right.
Take care, Lisa. And we thank you all for watching that episode of Black Friday Deals and Conversations, our second conversation of that hour. We have 2 more hours coming up in this block, which means we have 4 more guests that are coming up. We're going to be speaking with author and speaker Mary Ellen Saganovich. She's coming up at the top of the next hour. Also, we have Deborah L. Hunter, who's a chef and author, coming up at the bottom of the next hour. At the top of the 12 p.m. Eastern hour, we have a principal, educator, and author Lakeisha Williams will be joining us. And at the bottom of that hour at 12:30 p.m. Eastern time, we have author and speaker Nancy Matthews being on with us as well. That'll round out this block. We have other blocks throughout the day, so definitely make sure you guys are staying connected with us here on Amazon Live. Want to say once again, thank you all for watching us there on Amazon Live. If you guys are new to us here, make sure you guys click below, give us a follow. We are broadcasting here 7 days a week on Amazon Live. And I'm excited about this because today we're bringing you guys not only some great conversations from authors who have books on Amazon, but also some great Black Friday deals as well. I want to go over a couple of the deals I mentioned earlier before we bring in Mary Ellen. As I mentioned, all of the guests that we have on today have books that are available on Kindle. Well, if you don't have a Kindle and you would like to get a Kindle, today is the perfect time to be able to get it. I'm going to go ahead and highlight it there in the carousel on Amazon. The Kindle 7, which is what I have here, is on sale right now for only $34.99. I have my books on it. I have music on there. Also, other apps that I use, YouTube, because you can be able to stream from the internet from it as well. Goodreads is on here too. It's a great way to be able to take all of your books along with you, take your favorite podcast, your favorite music right along with you. Again, the Kindle 7, it is only available for $37.99. It's a really good value, so you guys can take care of that. Also, as I mentioned, I'm actually powering this segment thanks to ByteCool. That is the laptop that I'm using. I've been using it for streaming here on Amazon Live, so you guys can be able to get it as well. It's on sale right now at the time we're having this conversation for $279. That is 30% off. 30% off for the laptop that I'm using right now. So definitely make sure you guys take a look at that. It's really good for streaming. It does come with Windows 10 already installed on it. Really easy to set up. I have a great video that's on Amazon. You'll notice it on the product page there for ByteCool to show you just how easy it is to be able to set up and get it ready to go. Also, one thing I saw someone ask me about there on YouTube, I want to share with you guys, and that is the laptop stand you guys saw me pick up earlier when I was having my interview with Lisa. This is the one I'm using right here. It also is on sale today for Black Friday. It is $19.19. It is 20% off today. And this one will hold not only your phone, but also will hold your laptop. You'll see it has the little connectors there. You can actually have it for your laptop there. It is adjustable. All you do is squeeze here. You're able to adjust it however you need it to be. Really easy. So if you're having it for your laptop to be able to use, you can easily be able to adjust it there. Also, you can have it for your phone. I use my phone. Normally, I use it vertically. However, you can turn it to be able to hold it horizontally as well. And then it just tightens up there. The other thing that's really cool about this is it has a magnetic part here. So once you do clip your phone on, it's able to stay in place. So you don't have to worry about your phone falling off the actual stand there. So it's a really cool thing. I like the little shelf it has on it there. You can see, but it's a really cool deal. Again, this one right now is $19.19. Have it highlighted in the carousel there. And again, it's a 20% off for this for Black Friday as well. Luana, thank you so much for that. Luana says another great show. Yeah, Lisa's cool. I give Lisa a hard time because I've known her a long time. But my next guest, I'm going to give her a hard time too, Luana. Mary Ellen's coming up, so I'm going to give everyone a hard time. I'm going to be here all day, so I'm going to give everyone a hard time. But this is the box that the laptop stand comes in. I was just sharing with you guys, so you guys could be able to get that. The last thing I will show you guys before we do bring in Mary Ellen, and I mentioned this earlier, but I want to make sure that I highlight it in the carousel here, and that is my selfie stick. That is one of the things that I've been able to use a lot. You guys know I like to be able to take pictures, and it makes it a whole lot easier for me. The selfie stick company that I use actually has a Black Friday sale. You can get this one for $9.85. $9.85. I would highlight it in the carousel. That's 34% off. And I love this. You guys know I have like 4 phones around here. So I love this because whether you have a spectacular Android or that other one that's out there, you guys can be able to put it in there really easy and to be able to use it. Now, it does come with a Bluetooth shutter. You guys can actually just connect it with the Bluetooth to be able to take your pictures and everything. Really easy to be able to use. And you can be able to attach a tripod to it as well. So it's another great deal. Again, it's $9.85. That is 34% off. It's what you guys can get it today for Black Friday. So again, that's another deal to be able to keep in mind. Again, some things to help you as you are doing your reading. Earl, yes, the selfie stick. Of course, the selfie stick, Earl. You have one too. You do want me to tell everybody? You have one too. You may not use it properly, but you have a selfie stick. Earl Hall joining us over there on Amazon. And I appreciate you being over there on Amazon. Earl, appreciate you being with us. If you need another one, Earl, they're on sale, 30% off, $9.85. So make sure you take advantage of that as well. So as I mentioned, we've had a great hour for this first kickoff block for Black Friday deals and conversations. We spoke with Dawn Marie McWarland about her really needed workbook. I want to show you guys that again. Stand Up to Workplace Bullying and Discrimination. You can see I've moved along. See, I'm talking about books again. See, I'm staying on track here, Earl. Stand Up to Workplace Bullying and Discrimination by Dawn Marie McWarland. It is available in paperback and Kindle, so you guys can make sure you guys get it. I'm going to go ahead and highlight it again there in the carousel. Again, the work that Dawn does is really remarkable to be able to help people know what their rights are, but also to provide resources. The back of the book literally has the numbers to call, the people to reach out to if you're experiencing discrimination yourself or bullying, or you know someone who is, that you can pass on to them or even be able to contact them yourself. Also, we had then at the bottom of this hour, we had Lisa Yolanda George, aka Lisa G. We were talking about her book, Celebrating Life, Celebrating You. I'm going to highlight it again there in the carousel. There you see it there. It's $7.99 for the print edition. The Kindle edition is only 99 cents. You guys can see it there. And again, if you guys do not have a Kindle, and to be honest with you guys, even if you're not looking to buy Kindle today, that's fine. You can be able to get the Kindle for PC. It's completely free. It's an app you can download to your laptop or desktop. So you can still be able to read any of these books if you just don't want to buy the paperback, but you want to have the electronic edition. You can be able to download that app for your phone or for your laptop or desktop. So definitely take advantage of that. We're gearing up for the beginning of our next hour. We're going to be speaking with someone who's celebrating a brand new release this week that is on Amazon. Mine won't be here, I think, until Sunday. But we're excited to welcome back Mary Ellen Saganovich. Mary Ellen is the author of a few books, I can now say. Before this week, it was a couple. She had this one, Truth, Taking Responsibility and Leadership Through Healing. And she had this one, Healing Words, Life Lessons to Inspire. Now she has a brand new book out this week. I do have it on my Kindle, I have to say. I'm very proud of that. But I ordered the print edition too. So Mary Ellen Taganovich is back on with us today to talk with us about the year that's been 2021 in her books. Mary Ellen, how are you?
I am so wonderful. I'm so blessed and just so humbled and honored just to be here with you and with everybody. I mean, thank you so very much. I mean, you are just, I'm sitting in the back room, watching, and I was like, oh, I need that product and I need that product and I need that.
See, that's why we're glad to have you. Everyone needs to be like Mary Ellen. You need everything. Mary Ellen, I want to say this. I am so proud of you. And I want to say this publicly to you, what I say to you all the time anyway, but I want to say it because I think it's important for us to let people know. You have been such a bright spot in my life over the past decade. I have appreciated your messages of encouragement that you share with the world. I have really enjoyed your books, whether they talk about truth, healing words, or even the new book, Truth Lives. And I love the fact that you continue to give. So I just want to say on behalf of everybody who reads your books, who reads your messages, watches, your motivational videos, I want to say thank you to you. But I want to ask you, as I mentioned, you're celebrating a brand new book. I'm going to go ahead and highlight it now in the carousel here on Amazon. Truth Lives. Oh, there you go. There you go. Right on cue. How does it feel to have your third book out for the world to be able to read?
I mean, I'm just so humbled that God allowed me to put these words on paper and now bring them to light to others. I mean, and honor is not a word. I'm truly humbled that I see all of the things that I've been through in my life coming to a culmination to where that since I went through these things and I learned from them, that I now can inspire and motivate others. And you've been such a bright light in my life. And one of the reasons Truth Lives is out there, because you kept saying to me, when are you going to write your next book? When are you going to come up in the next book? And I'm like, okay, whatever. And then Dr. Teresa Smith was such an inspiration too with her book, Transformation, which is excellent. And I thought, well, because, I started writing Truth Lives, and I started writing it incorrectly. When you go against what you should do as a person and you try to do it a different way, it's not correct.
Yeah.
So Truth Lives, I started writing the truths. It has a table of truths in it. And it's just 120 truths to last you through 4 months. And I'm going to write a series of 3 other books to go with it. So you'll have another whole year.
Gotcha. Let's dive into that a little bit, because you said something really interesting, Mary Ellen. And I think our audience needs to hear this and needs to think about this, because I have learned in my life, and I think you would agree that you've learned this too, that it's good to have people that we trust. It's good to have people that we know have our best interests at heart. But at the end of the day, the gifts that we have are given to us.
Oh, yeah.
And people may mean well in trying to tell us you should do this, you should do that. And it doesn't mean what they're saying is wrong per se, but it may not be right for you. So my question to you is, how did you get to a place, Mary Ellen, where you were willing and able to trust your own voice, to trust what was given to you?
Well, through going through a situation, and when you react to it, that's always incorrect. You have to learn and you have to respond. You have to step back and respond out of love instead of reacting out of fear.
Yeah.
And when you trust that knowing, and I'm pointing to my core right here, instead of your beliefs, because your beliefs always include a doubt, but your knowings are your connection with your higher power and your spirit. And I learned that probably when I was diagnosed with my multiple sclerosis back in 1986, because there weren't any treatments for MS, and I had to look to God and I would meditate, and I kept hearing God say a certain thing to use. And I thought, okay, I'll do that, and exercise. And that is what has kept my MS monster in his cave. I still don't take any of the MS medications. I'm not telling anybody to drop their medications. That just isn't what works for me.
Right.
You have to find your own path. You have to find what triggers that MS monster in you, and you have to listen to those knowings to go forward, to connect. And even though MS is terribly hard, there are days when I just don't even want to talk about, but you embrace that monster with love and you hug it and you squeeze it and you learn from it.
Hmm. And that brings us then back to the book. So I want to talk about truth because truth can be an interesting word.
Mhm.
You know, you have the book Truth, Taking Responsibility and Unleashes True Healing. Now you have Truth Lives. Talk to us about truth and why that has been such a topic for you to explore.
Well, people use the word truth incorrectly. I understand how they're using it, but they're using it more as a fact. Okay. A truth does not change. It is always immutable. It is like what you focus on expands, what you think about happens. Okay. God is, I am a child of God. Those are all very powerful truths. And everything I write in either Truth, Taking Responsibility, Unleashes True Healing, Healing Words, or in the new book, Truth Lives, is a truth that you can use today, you can use next year. Anyone in the world can use it, and it is just powerful. It never changes. And that is the difference between a real truth and a factual truth is kind of like, well, it's sunny today here in Chattanooga. That is true. Okay. But that is not a truth because it's not always sunny here in Chattanooga.
Yeah, love that. Love that. I want to say, and I appreciate you all being with us there on Amazon Live, and those who are tuning in too on Twitter and YouTube. Appreciate you. Those who are joining us also on Facebook, you all are watching Cyrus Ware Presents. This is part of our Black Friday deals and conversations. We're in the conversations part right now, where I'm talking with Mary Ellen Taganovich. I have highlighted right now on Amazon her book, Truth, Taking Responsibility, Unleashes True Healing. She's also the author of this book, Healing Words, Life Lessons to Inspire. I have it highlighted there. And the new book, Truth Lives. Now, all of her books, the Kindle editions, are only $3.99. You see her holding up that one. So, what separates Mary Ellen Truth from Truth Lives?
Well, Truth, Taking Responsibility, Unleashes True Healing is a book full of truth. That is correct. I wrote Truth Lives differently because I found that truth was a little bit long for people. I have a table of contents and Truth Lives. It's actually a table of truths, so it's easier to find.
Yeah.
And then after every 30 days, I have a truth, like this, that
Yeah.
separates the months. Sorry about that.
Yeah.
I don't have, I'm supposed to get my copies either today or tomorrow. So
Yeah.
Monday, I'm going to do it. But anyway, that separates the months. So it's a little bit easier, I think, to read and to find and to deal with. They're both good books, and they were both told to me by my higher power, as was Healing Words. And it's just dependent on whether you want, a 4-month supply of truths, or if you want a whole year.
Yeah. You talk a lot about, because I think one thing that people don't do very well, Mary Ellen, that you address a lot in your books, you do it in Truth Lives, and that is taking responsibility. That part even of the book Truth.
Yeah.
Taking responsibility is not always easy, which is probably why most people don't do it. But why has that been so important for you to share with people how, especially if they're looking to make changes or to do things differently, or how that if they expect different outcomes, the importance of taking responsibility for their part, their role?
Well, what the theory that I teach people is the theory of one finger out, 3 fingers back, meaning the good you see in others is the good you have inside yourself. And the things about other people that hook you or irritate you are God's way of showing you what you need to work on in yourself. And when you take responsibility, it's not that they're not doing something incorrect. They probably are. And when you take responsibility for seeing it and ask God, what do I need to learn from seeing it that way? Why am I aggravated by what they did?
Yeah.
You take responsibility for it and you learn from it. And then the next time it becomes easier and it becomes easier and easier until finally it doesn't bother you anymore at all.
Mhm. Such a great point, and I think too, it's one of the things that for all of us really to think about. And I love the fact that you said, because we can only do something about us. And I think so many times we waste time because we're so busy trying to change other people. Talk about the work that you do, Mary Ellen. For those who are just now following you, we're going to let them know, of course, at the end of our broadcast, how they can be able to stay connected. But I mean, have you always known for you, I mean, considering what you've gone through, that you had something that other people could benefit from?
Well, I always knew that I was a little bit different, and I thought outside the box. I didn't think like everybody else. I would have these ideas and notions and opinions, and everybody would go, "How can you think like that?" And I was always like, "Well, why doesn't everybody think like that?" Like I did my miracle moment this morning, and it was about an act of kindness that a teacher did. So I encourage everybody to go on my site and listen to that miracle moment, because it was just such a powerful, it's a little act of kindness that she did that she didn't even realize she was doing, but it meant something to the child she did it for. And if all of us would go forward and be aware as we go out and about, be aware of giving a smile to somebody, lending a hand, reaching for a product that somebody maybe can't reach, opening a door, doing something to encourage and be kind, then what a much better world it would be.
Yeah. So totally agree with that. I want to read something from Truth Lives. I'm also reading it from my Kindle, Marilyn, because my print edition I think will be here today or tomorrow. But from Truth number 7 in the book, Change is an Inevitable Truth. You write this: change happens, so make change work for you. As you experience change in your life, control your response to the change that is in front of you. Change in the circumstances surrounding it can be a source of joy or a source of great stress and frustration. The only truth about change is the fact that it is unavoidable. That is really, I think, a powerful thing. Talk to us about that and that message, Mary Ellen, to share with other people that change, no matter how you fight against it, is going to happen.
Yeah. Well, many people fight against change. I mean, I've had instances in my life where I've fought against change and dug my feet. And I mean, even when you ask me, like, when my next book coming out, and I'm like, oh, sorry, no, please, no, not again. So we all, that's, part of the human condition. And when we're aware of it, and the awareness is the key, that change is happening. You're going to age, you're going to get older. Do it gracefully. Don't be grumpy and complaining about it. Don't be negative. Be positive and be uplifted that, wow, you're at an age now that you can encourage and motivate and inspire the younger people coming up, and you can help them to see things differently. You can support them on their path. And change needs to be embraced just like anything else, with love. Don't fear it, because that's false expectations appearing real. Let it go and just allow change to happen, because God's always leading you towards something better.
Yeah, that's a great thing. Again, everyone, you all are watching Cyrus Webb Presents here on Amazon Live. Appreciate you guys being with us. I'll make sure you guys unmute, and also feel free to chime in the chat as well. Also, those tuning in on YouTube, on Twitter, Facebook, appreciate you all for being with us. Mary Ellen Saganovich is our guest. She's celebrating her brand new book called Truth Lives. There it is. Truth Lives. I have it there on my Kindle. And speaking of Kindles, as we're having our Black Friday deals and conversations, I want to remind you guys that this Kindle that I'm holding right now is literally on sale right now. Again, I have Mary Ellen's book here. I also have the print edition that is coming. But this Kindle right now, which is the Fire 7, it is available right now for $34.99. It's a great way to be able to keep books with you on the go. Have over 200 books on mine right now. It's, as well as my Amazon Music, Goodreads, all of that is on here. And I'm able to do my browsing on the internet as well. But again, this is $34.99. I have it marked right now in the carousel. That's 30% off. You guys can get it for, which is a really good deal. Marilyn, have you gotten used to the idea? I was talking to another guest earlier, and I'm curious about this for you. You're 3 books into this at this point. 3.5 if we count that Healing Word. This is the second iteration of it. Being a published author, having books on Amazon the way you do, is that something that has gotten more comfortable for you?
Oh, yes, it definitely is more comfortable. And it was just, week before last, I think I told you I was going through one heart. I mean, it was every day was something was happening.
Hmm.
And then I finally gave it to God and I said, okay. And I really didn't think the book would get out for the holidays. And I finally just turned it over to God, like anything else that I do.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden on Thanksgiving Eve, there the book comes out on Kindle. Then on Thanksgiving Day, it comes out in paperback. And it's been such a, like I said, I'm just so humbled that God does put everything together at the right moment, at the right place.
Yeah.
And when you see that, and when you truly live by that faith, a lot of people go to church to practice their faith, yet do they practice it every single day?
Yeah.
It's hard to walk in a path of faith, especially when things are going wrong.
Mm.
So, it's gotten a lot more comfortable. I'm still totally nervous. Like I was so nervous before coming on today. But, I'm just, like I said, so humbled and blessed by everything.
Yeah. Nancy Matthews, who actually will be on with me here in just a bit. She says, "Congratulations, Mary Ellen. So true. Live by faith." It's such an important, I think, reminder for us all. And you said something interesting, and that is about the letting go. You write a lot about letting go in
Mhm.
truth, taking responsibility and leads to true healing. That in itself is not easy to do. Our previous guest before you probably heard her talking about opening up our fist, right? I mean, how difficult it is to have that clenched fist, but it can be scary. It can be a scary thing. I want to talk about the platform though, because you not only have written books, you have your segments that people can listen to here on Amazon Music. That's part of our Conversations Daily News on Amazon Music as well. We don't promote that as much. We need to promote it more because people can listen to our new segment here on Amazon Monday through Friday. But what has that been like for you to be a person that individuals look at as a source of inspiration, Mary Ellen?
Well, I just take it with a grain of salt because, I'm doing what I can to touch one person every day. And I figure if I touch one person every day, and if I leave just the world just a little bit better, then my books will live on much longer than I will, and my words will live on. And I've always taught my students when I taught middle school, just leave the world a little bit better than when you came.
Yeah.
And it's been a blessing. It's been such a blessing to meet you and to work with you. I'm just so appreciative of that. And Cyrus, you do such a good job with everybody, with everything you touch. And you are just a true Thanksgiving blessing.
Well, thank you. I appreciate that, Marilyn. I appreciate that. I feel the same way about you, but not just for Thanksgiving. You're just a blessing, period. you're, I want to go back to something because you mentioned about the format of the new book Truth Lives because it is now making its way out there. Like I said, I have the Kindle edition. The print edition is coming. You talked about there is going to be more. So I want to talk about the message because one thing I was excited about for you, I get excited for other people. I was telling our mutual friend Earl Hall, I'm one of those people. I get excited when I see other people excited about something because I know what that feels like. When we posted about the book, the love was coming out for you, as you saw on Facebook. What was that like for you to see people rooting for you?
It was tremendous, and the book sales have been going through the roof. And I'm just, it's just such a wonderful, like I said, humbling feeling. And being humbled is not anything I was raised with. It was something that I've learned, and I've learned a lot of it through you and through your group. And now to embrace it within myself is just it's even a more wonderful feeling than having the book out there. It's just to be humbled and be just blessed by so many other people that are tremendous inspirations to me. like Dr. Teresa Smith, Tina Simmons, I mean, yourself, I mean, Luana, I mean, Nancy, and all the people that read my Truths of the Day, you guys are such an inspiration to me to keep me going. And I appreciate that.
You mentioned earlier, and I've heard you refer to it this way before, Mary Ellen, your MS as the MS monster. And I think all of us, what I thought was so interesting about that was I think we all have our monster, right? We all have that thing that we
Yeah.
have to struggle with, that we have to fight. you know, Sometimes we do better than other times with it, and I think that goes to, so what gives you the will to keep going forward?
Well, what I do, the Truths of the Day, gives me a purpose to wake up in the morning, to post, to keep writing them. I'm writing them now. I think I have them written almost to the end of the year, and I'm going to start writing into 2022. And it keeps me going. And everyone, as you get older, whether you're still working or not, even after you retire, you have to have that purpose to get up in the morning. You have to have that purpose, and your purpose can be to take your family, and that's all well and great. And what other purpose can you do? What other kindness can you do for someone else? Because and I have clients that I counsel, so if anybody needs any counseling or things like that, they can connect with me. And I work with a lot of older people who don't have that purpose anymore to get up. And so I try to instill in them, what do you love to do? Because you should do what you love to do. Don't worry about the money. Do what you love to do, and the money will come.
Yeah.
Because when you do what you love to do, it's going to show. And when you, like, I believe in my books. I don't just believe in them, I know in them. And that's why I can promote them the way I want to, because I know that I didn't write these books. God did. My higher power did.
Yeah. It's a great message, and it's a great reminder for all of us. Again, everyone, Mary Ellen Saganovich is our guest, celebrating the release of her third book this week. It's called simply Truth Lives. I'm going to go ahead and highlight it there in the carousel. You guys can see there the Kindle edition is only $3.99. Also, you guys can get the print edition there on Amazon as well. All of Mary Ellen's books, the Kindle edition is $3.99. So you might as well just go ahead and get them all. I mean, for $10, you can get Truth, Take Responsibility, Unleash Your Healing. You can get Healing Words, Life Lessons to Inspire. I'm going to highlight it there in the carousel. And then, of course, the brand new book for sure is Truth Lives. Definitely invite you guys to be able to pick up your own copy of that. Mary Ellen, how can they stay connected with you?
Well, you can stay connected with me through my website at askmaryellen.com. I just had my miracle moment on Facebook Live this morning, Instagram Live, all of those platforms. On Monday, I'm going to do Miracles with Mary Ellen, and it's going to be a very special segment on Miracles with Mary Ellen, because I'm going to be talking about the inspirational story of how I came up with the cover of Truth Lives, and how the internet, how social media can be used for good, because I actually found this cover over social media, and no, I didn't snag somebody's photo. This was created by an artist friend of mine, Dino Carbetta, who is a wonderful Christian artist, and I'm going to be talking about him and his works, and how Dominique Wilkins put it all together for us, the graphic artist. So join me with Miracles of Mary Ellen on Monday for an inspirational story about how social media can be used for the good.
Love that. Love that. Congratulations to you again, Mary Ellen. Great catching up with you as we're celebrating here on Amazon Live Black Friday deals and conversations, and looking forward to our next conversation together.
I am also, I always do. Happy Thanksgiving to you. And please tell your mom happy Thanksgiving for me also.
I will do that. She would love to hear from her daughter. I will definitely make sure I pass that message along. And we thank you all for staying with us as we're continuing to go through our Black Friday deals and conversations here on Amazon Live. I want to give you guys just a couple of housekeeping things here for those who may be new that just may be coming in. Appreciate you all being with us. I'm Cyrus Webb, media personality, top 200 Amazon.com reviewer, and also host here on Amazon Live of Cyrus Webb Presents, all throughout the day today, we're bringing you Black Friday deals and conversations, which means we have some great deals for you guys. Earlier today, we were discussing things for the home. During this segment, we're talking about things that are dealing with electronics and tech. Later on today, we have things for the kids when it comes to toys. I get to play with some remote control cars and a drone, but I'm only showing you guys video of that because I can't do it in my house. But you guys will see the video of a drone that you guys can be able to get today on this Black Friday deal. But we also have some great interviews that are coming up throughout this whole day that I'm very excited about. We kicked things off in the last hour with Dawn Marie McWarland talking about her workbook. Then we had author Lisa Yolanda George joining us. And then you guys just watched my conversation with Mary Ellen Saganovich on the Amazon Live side. If you guys are new here, make sure you guys click below and follow us there. We have programming here 7 days a week on Amazon Live, and especially coming up the next 4 days, you'll be having some special programming. Today, of course, is all about Black Friday. Tomorrow, we have things for Small Business Saturday that will be very exciting. And on Monday, we have some special things for Cyber Monday. So you guys will be able to see that. On Sunday, we have some things that are going on too. Some other great companies that have products available here on Amazon. We'll be talking with them and sharing them with you guys too. So again, make sure you guys give us a follow below. And all of the items that we're discussing today, you can find in the carousel. So in the 3 hours that we're on for this segment, you guys can get all of them at the prices we're talking about today. If it is something on the Black Friday deal, like the tablet that I keep telling you guys about, we know this is going to sell out. So I would tell you to go ahead and check out with it if it's something that you're looking at, because there's no guarantee it's going to be there later. One thing I can tell you about all of the items that I'm showing you guys today, I was very particular about making sure they were actually in stock. So all of the items I'm sharing with you guys today are in stock right now. So you guys can be sure that when you order them, they will be able to be available. I like the Kindle. If you guys are a Prime member, if it's ordered today on Black Friday, you guys will have it on Sunday. So it's a really good deal. Again, I'm going to go ahead and go back to the Kindle here because, again, all of the authors that we're speaking with today, all of their books are available on Kindle. And again, this Kindle is $34.99. That is a 30% off right now. So $34.99 for the Fire 7. That's the Kindle that I have here. As I mentioned, I don't only read books on it. I have my music. I watch YouTube videos. I don't play games, but the app is on here. But I do Goodreads. Goodreads is on there too. And also, of course, my podcast. So anything that you would do on your laptop, you can be able to do here on your tablet. You can even connect a keyboard to it. A Bluetooth keyboard does have Bluetooth capability. You can connect the keyboard to it to actually be able to type and browse the internet that way as well. The other thing I'll mention before we bring in our next guest is the computer that we're using for today's show. This is powered by ByteCool. ByteCool has their laptop on sale right now for $279. That is also 30% off. You guys can get there. Again, it also has Windows 10 already installed. This laptop is really good for gaming, for streaming. So if you guys are looking for something to help you with that, this is the perfect thing for you. And you noticed earlier I had my laptop stand that's here. It also is on Black Friday deal right now. I'm going to go ahead and highlight it again in the carousel on Amazon Live. It is $19.19. It is 20% off today. Again, $19.19. And it looks small. However, it can be able to hold not only your phone, which is what I had it just holding, but you can put out the feet, and then it's able to hold your laptop. You press the button here that's on the side, and you're able to adjust it to the size that you need it to be. And that's what makes it really cool. You can adjust it to whatever your desk is to make it easy for you guys to be able to have, especially if you're even just sitting at a table or reclining in the bed. You can be able to adjust it to fit you. When it comes to the phone, I have mine vertical, but you can also use it horizontal as well. So either way, and it does have a little shelf there you see to be able to hold your phone to make sure it doesn't fall, no matter what way you're holding it. We're going to keep on with our conversations now. So you guys are going to continue to tell you guys about the Black Friday deals. Our next guest is also someone who's been with us before on Amazon Live, but she has also celebrated a brand new book. And this book is quite timely, I would say. It is a cookbook. She is the only chef we have that's joining us today. And a lot of you guys are doing cooking. I was doing some cooking for my family this week. Our next guest is Deborah L. Hunter. She has a new cookbook called Great Southern Baking with Deborah L. Hunter. I want to talk to her about that. She also has some children's books. I have them right here that she's released this year as well. I have the cookbook on my Kindle device, but we're going to also let you guys know how you can get the paperback edition as well. Deborah, hello to you.
Hey, Cyrus. Hi, everybody. Happy holidays.
Deborah, it is great to be able to see you again. I love that smile. You have the most beautiful smile, and I know it comes
I
from
love you,
within.
Cyrus.
No, I'm serious. I'm serious. You know, one thing people cannot say about you, and that is that you don't bring the sunshine. You
Wow.
every time I see you online, whether it's a selfie, because you love your selfies.
I'm a
And as
girl.
you should.
What can I say?
I know, as you should. But I mean, it just comes out, and I see the comments. People see that from you. Where does that come from, Deborah? Because you know this has been a challenging year, but you have not allowed this year to get to you. What keeps you smiling?
Well, Cyrus, that's really funny that you asked me that question because today I had a few questions for you. I know that this interview is supposed to be about books, but that was actually one of the questions that I had. I literally wrote down 4 questions. I know y'all can't see them that I wanted to ask you.
Okay.
But for me, it is understanding the becoming of a thing. And what I mean by that is I had to become peace. A lot of times we're looking for something that we already possess, right? So instead of looking for love, I recognize the fact that I just am love. Instead of looking for peace, I am the peace, right? So if you show up and the way that God with me, Cyrus, one day I was praying, oh God, send me peace, send me joy. And so he stopped me in the middle of prayer and he says, baby, can anybody convince you that you're not a girl? And I said, no, sir. He said, can anybody convince you that you're not a Black girl? And I said, no, sir. And he said, so how can somebody convince you that you're not peace, that you're not joy, that you're not love, that you're not wealth? Because that's the kingdom of God on the inside. I was done after that. Yeah.
Wow.
Just be whatever it is that you're looking for, Cyrus. Yeah.
And you know what? Because I love you, and I've been in a great mood since 1:30 this morning. I'm interested in your questions. So I definitely look forward to those. Would you like to do those now? Or would you like to wait till the end? It's totally up to you.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, Cyrus. Thank you so much. One question I have for you, because I've known you for a while, is what motivates you on a daily basis? What's your daily motivation?
Well, it is life. Life motivates me. You know, as you know, Deborah, as my regular audience knows, I'm a suicide attempt survivor, which means I went from just thinking about suicide, actually attempting suicide. So I'm a suicide attempt survivor. And ever since that moment in my life at 20 years old, now 26 years ago, I look at every day as a gift. So nothing.
You're not 26.
I know, right? This is breaking news.
Right. You look amazing.
But that's really it. I do not. That's why I milk every moment. From every day. Because I understand I didn't have to be here. I also have the appreciation, Deborah, that the day I woke up, like this morning, somebody didn't. And that also drives me because I never want to. It's not even about being busy. It's about being worthy. Because I look at life as something we are worthy of. And unfortunately, we don't always show appreciation for that. And I want to show appreciation for the breath in my body.
That's why I love it. Because I feel that from you. I've shared with you before. You're that person that's the champion in front of me. And I'm constantly saying, keep up with him, because your spirit really does just manifest the joy of living. And I really love you for that. The second question that I had for you is who's the person that inspires you the most in life, Cyrus?
So this answer may surprise you, actually. And it would probably surprise her. But living It's my mother.
Ah,
My mother and I have had an interesting relationship over the years, which we both have been very open and honest about because I think that's important. But my mother, I tell people all the time, we didn't come from money. My mom didn't
mhm.
have a lot, but we never lacked for anything. My
Right.
mom worked hard, sometimes two jobs. She wasn't there a lot with us. And, so she did not come to the ball game. She didn't come to the band hall. But I did not understand at the time because as a child, you don't.
Right.
But as I got older, Deborah, I realized that was her love. Her
Right.
love was the reason why she wasn't there because she was making sure we never had to go without something to eat, go without clothes to wear. And
Yeah.
though, yes, I looked at other parents being there, I realized today you can be somewhere and not be present. My
Ooh,
mom was
say
present.
that. Say
My
that.
mom was present in her
Yeah.
intent. She wasn't
Yeah.
working just to be working. She was working out of love for her family.
Right.
And that is something that I have picked up on, ironically, is I do everything with intent. I don't just do something to be doing it. I
Yeah.
turn down opportunities all the time. But I look at the intent behind it and I got that from her.
Wow. You said something extremely profound, Cyrus. You can be there and still not be present. And I think most people
Hmm.
miss that. I was sharing with a friend of mine recently, even, just something as making simple as making eye contact. If you pay attention, most
Yeah.
people are so busy or so guarded. So they're afraid of just simple eye contact. And that means that you're
Yeah.
you're not present in that moment. So
Yeah.
you're looking for, that joy, that kindness, that friendliness during the day, and you pass by it. So, and maybe fear or lack of understanding and quite, people, you're running by life
Hmm.
instead of taking time to just indulge in those moments. The next
Yeah.
question that I have for you is, when you started on this journey that you're on, did you have a clear view of where you would be now?
Absolutely not. I would love to say I know the right answer is, oh yeah, I didn't know nothing. I I did not know. You've heard the saying ignorance is bliss. My picture should be next to that quote
Yeah.
somewhere because I even even starting radio, I didn't even know who was listening. I didn't even know how it worked. I'm the
Yeah.
kind of person, Deborah. I don't. I know some people because I hear stuff. People think I have this big maniacal plan, and I have all this. I don't have no plan. I just, I enjoy, I enjoy being able to make sure people are seen because I know what that feels like not to be seen. So whatever way that
Yeah.
shows up, whether it's in a radio show, a TV show, an Amazon
Yeah.
broadcast like this, writing a book, writing an article, a magazine, social media, whatever way I can let people know, look, we're here. I feel like I'm kind of the president of the Nerds Club. That person who, who in
I
school,
remember.
you thought, okay, they're not going to be anything. That person's not, they're not going to. Oh, look at that. That's cute. They're trying to do this over over here,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
that ends up being the person you end up working for, right? Because because they're not thinking about you, they're thinking about the mission. So I would say no, I did not know any of this. Honest, and that's an honest answer. I didn't know any of this would happen, but I knew God was able to make it happen.
Wow.
That's the only thing I can say. I knew whatever I did, if I didn't forget Him, anything was possible.
Let me tell you, Cyrus, do you know the power of being able to be honest about that? Like, I didn't have a plan. I just did the work because I think
Hmm.
we live in a society now, especially with all of these coaching brands and everybody wanting to teach you how to put 7 steps in place, 12
Yeah,
steps in place. The reality is a simple formula. Love what you're doing, do the work. And that's what you just shared with us, is to love what you're doing. And then you loved it because you love people.
Yeah.
And then you just did the work. And for me, that's kind of where it's an accident, but that's just kind of been my path. I don't know what I'm going to do every day, but I'm going to get up and give the day the absolute best that I have. Like I didn't going to do this last cookbook, and you called me and you was like, get it done. And I was like, oh, make it happen. And I think that's the beautiful thing about life. You don't always have to have a plan. You just have to be willing to do the work. And I love you for that. So the last question is a little bit more intense, Cyrus, because this is really personal for me. So how to handle the rejections in family as you start to build and grow and taste levels of success and start to manifest your dream in the world, and you look around and you see people that should be supportive that may be a little bit standoffish.
This answer will not be popular, but it's the truth. And I believe in, you say the truth because the truth is, like my last guest, Mary Ellen, says, the truth just is.
Yeah.
It is. I don't care.
I love it.
I don't care. I have people who have literally watched me for 18 years that still question what I do.
Wow.
And I'm like, okay, where have you been for the past? Did you ever see what this? And so I think this is the truth, and I give this advice to anybody. When you start giving your attention to that, to the negativity, to the naysayers, to the questions, you're taking your eye off the ball. That's when you lose.
Yeah.
And for me, that's why I refuse to lose. I don't, someone will come to me, well, you should hear what such and such said, or such and such. And I tell them, look, I don't want to hear that. My mom will tell you, I will hang up on you. I will give you a warning and say, she'll tell you she's experienced this. And I'll say, you know what? I don't want to hear that. If you keep on, I will say it again. I really don't. I don't care. I don't care to hear. If you keep going from there, you're going to get hung up on. Because I don't even allow myself. To me, that's a distraction. It kind of Brene Brown says it best. If you're not in the game, don't talk to me.
Yeah.
If you don't have any skin in the game, if you're not where I am or where I'm trying to go, there's really not anything you can say to me. So I just don't pay any attention to it.
Yeah. So
I love them.
And that's
I do love them.
Something
Though.
that I'm learning. Yeah. It's something that I'm learning, Cyrus. When I was thinking about this question to ask you, I thought about the woman in the Bible who turned into a pillow of salt because she was looking back, and her dream, her destiny was in front of her. And in that moment, I thought, as a woman, what was she looking back at? And sometimes you look at, your children, your parents, your friends, because they were all in that place, right?
Yeah.
But her destiny was in front of us, and it takes a lot of guts and strength and interpersonal strength to be able to say, I love you guys, but I've got to keep moving and keep my eyes on the prize. And you've shared that with me before, but I just wanted us to talk about it out loud, because sometimes I think it gets really hard for people because we keep looking for, especially those people that are closest to us, to be the ones that are cheering the loudest. And sometimes that's just not going to happen. But I'm grateful, Cyrus, for you, for your friendship and your kindness, and for you tolerating me today to, ask you these questions, because I know you were not prepared.
Well, I was not prepared, but
you.
I don't believe in accidents, Deborah, and someone probably needed to hear that. So I appreciate you for asking the question. I appreciate it.
Yeah.
Now, the Cyrus of 5 years ago would have said, no, we're not doing that, Deborah. We're going to talk about Great Southern Baking with Deborah L. Hunter. That's what we got. But so now let's talk about Great Southern Baking.
Yeah,
highlighted here on Amazon. So Deborah, okay, so since you've already told the story, I was thinking to myself, you know what? Deborah needs to have another cookbook.
Yeah.
Deborah needs to have a book of baking. She's always sharing this stuff, making people mad, sharing this food that we can't. She
You
ended
can
up
come get some anytime you want to, Cyrus.
so Deborah, what was it like for you to see and it you experienced what Mary Ellen talked about? What I could see the love coming in from
Yeah.
people.
Speaking of
What
Mary
was it
Ellen,
like for you to see
I
that love?
love her so much.
Yeah.
I love the group of people that you've shared with me. I know we're talking about the book and we only got a few minutes, but Cyrus, you are such a dynamic human being and a connector of people. And because of you, I've inherited this great wealth, and what I'm learning is that sometimes money doesn't always make you wealthy, Cyrus. Sometimes money can really decrease your value if you don't have the love and the joy and the fellowship of great people around you to connect with. So thank you for being my wealth in this world. I love you for that. But doing this book, Cyrus, it's always magical. I'm an artist. And so being able to put it together and see it come to life, it's just, it's that God genetics that works in all of us. We are creators. And so it's always, for me, it's always a joyful moment. And then to see people excited about it. Thank you for calling me, right?
Yeah. So
Yeah.
for those who don't know the story, and I appreciate you guys joining us on Amazon Live, they're probably thinking, what's going on here? let me tell you guys who's in front of us. This is Deborah L. Hunter. She's an author, she's an illustrator, she's a chef. I have highlighted right now on the carousel the book that is on my Kindle right now, Great Southern Baking with Deborah L. Hunter. But she also has children's books as well. She's released this year as well. Here is just one of them. But you shared an interesting story about your cooking journey, and you've
Yeah.
shared this a few times. Why don't you let our audience know about that prayer that led you on this path?
Wow. It's one of my favorite prayers, Cyrus. Literally, I bought a beautiful home with a gorgeous chef kitchen and no chef. And one morning, Cyrus, I walked in, the sun was coming through, the walls are a soft yellow, and the room was just beautiful. And I closed my eyes and I raised my hands and jokingly said, Holy Spirit, will you please teach me how to cook? In that moment, I had the most profound yes that I've ever had in my life. It just kind of pushed me back and it was sweet. The next morning when I woke up in my prayer time, the Holy Spirit said, if you were serious about what you asked me, let's cook something today. And so my journey really is the unfolding of God's word outside of the four walls of church, because I think what happens to people is you go to church and then you don't know how to live. Like, how do I take the word and make it work for me? So I asked for something simple, and then God did what he said in Ephesians 3:20, he would do exceedingly abundantly above anything that we could ask. Cyrus, it's just like the path that you're on. You ask for a little, and because of God's reputation, he gives you a lot. So I went from a girl who couldn't cook. A year later, I was on television. A couple of years later, I was hosting Deep South Dining for 6 years on MPB, which is one of the largest radio stations in the state of Mississippi. I've had magazine articles, television. It's just been a crazy, amazing ride. And I've never gone to culinary school. But what I share more than food is the love for people. It's that connection. So for me, food is it's the bait, and the people are the hook, and what they get is a lot of love and kindness when they show up. Cyrus.
Yeah, I appreciate that. My family, I don't do it as much since my grandmother died, Deborah, which has now been 7 years ago. But because most people wouldn't realize I'm really an introvert by nature. But when my grandmother was living, especially for the holidays, there was always family over. As she got older, of course, I took over the cooking. I learned at her feet, so I took over the cooking. And she said something one day, and it reminded me of what you just said, which is why I'm bringing it up. She says, I've noticed this is how you, because I'm not a big I love you person verbally. That's just not my mom, as you know, that's just her thing. That's not my normal default at the end of every conversation. I mean, I will say it, but it's not something I just naturally say. But my grandmother said, you show your love by cooking.
Right.
Because she could tell by the way I prepared the food and stuff that I didn't just throw something, just do something. And so I thought about that with what you were saying. So is that what you hope people take away from this cookbook then, Deborah? The love that's in it, but also the love they can share.
Absolutely, Cyrus. I pray that everything that I do from beginning to end is a love-based. Every recipe, I want you to taste the love of my food. I want you to, from my heart to yours. And so, yeah, no matter what I'm doing, I want people to be able to indulge in love. And you were talking about people not saying "I love you," Cyrus, but we really do. And I know that you show a lot of love, but most people now are afraid to show it or to say it. And so the more we become exposed globally, people become more closed privately,
Yeah.
but the way that we win with this, Cyrus, is not being afraid to say, "I love you." Even if you don't get it back from that particular source, you will get it back. And you'll get it back sometimes 1,000 more times more than you've asked for. So always be, one of the things that I even share when I'm chefing and teaching classes is to tell people, never be afraid to love. Your love language may not be cooking, whatever that is, though. Don't be afraid of it. It's the only way that we get to win collectively as human beings, is to stay in that vein. Yeah.
So true. Last thing I want to talk to you about, Deborah, is we can't go without talking about the children's book. I have just one of them here. I'm going to go ahead and highlight it here in the carousel. That is Little DJ and His Big Imagination. You also have Little D Superhero Adventure, the little girl in the red dress. I mean, where did all that come from?
Wow. So I know that there are a lot of crazy things that happened during the pandemic, but for what it did for me, Cyrus, was give me an opportunity to sit down and really push out some of those things that have just been in here. And I have 4 amazing grandchildren that have just broadened my life in a way that I can't explain. So part of me writing was to leave them something tangible in a literary work of art that could never be erased. It's something that they will remember me forever as part of their legacy. And so that was part of it. But it's really funny because when you start priming the well for water, more and more water comes. So even now, this week while I'm off for the holiday, Cyrus, I'm working on some new literary stuff. And you and I still have a ton of stuff that's going to be happening in 2020. So, it's all about love. It was me wanting to say to my beautiful grandchildren that your grandmother loves you, and I'm going to always be here for you no matter what.
Yeah. Speaking of that, I want to go ahead and highlight the other book I did not mention and go ahead and pull it up here. Grandma to the Rescue.
Always.
Because I think that is another one that, again, I remember when you first told me about it, and when I read the story, remembering, of course, the love of my grandmother and how that love, even though everyone feels like they're the favorite. I mean, I was the favorite, but I know everybody says that, right?
Right.
But I love the message of there being enough love for everyone. Has that been something that's been fun for you to share with not only your own grandchildren, that there's enough of you for all of them, but also for other grandparents to do that too?
Absolutely. And that message of there's enough, Cyrus, is something that we can take into not just with our grandchildren or our spouses, but even in business. The moment that you feel like you've run out of you, that there's never going to be enough, then you start to lose. But because of the way that we are divinely designed, not only can I give you this, but because I can never run out of being Deborah Hunter, I can always give you a little bit more and a little bit more. And I can do it in integrity. I can do it in a place of honor and self-respect. I think this world is built like if you give too much, then people will think you're a doormat. Well, the reality is I am the door. I am the way, I am the truth, and I'm the light because I'm the daughter of God. And there is never, ever going to be a place where I run out of being kind and loving because that's just the way we're built. And so I want my grandchildren to carry that into their families and their families. It's more to leaving a rich heritage for your children, Cyrus, than money. And it's necessary because they can't eat the legacy of a book. So we need finances. But along with building a society that's getting richer and richer, you also need to have a rich moral character, a rich spiritual character. So even though it's a children's book, I'm hoping that they'll see the sweet messages that will carry on to every area of their life.
Yeah, I will have to say my favorite. I don't have it here with me in the office, but it's definitely his Little D superhero adventure, because I love that idea of young people being able to do anything. And I think a
Yeah,
lot of times we, unfortunately, and I've experienced this some as I was growing up. We, and I understand it to a sense where you think, you have to wait till you grow up to do this, or you have to wait till you're older to do. And I think the world now has shown us, no, we need to start now.
yeah,
We
yeah,
need your expertise now, especially with everything going digital, and these young people know this stuff. We need
yeah.
them now to contribute.
Well, again, Cyrus, I'm always going to go back to the beautiful Bible principles, and so what we'll find in the Bible is that in the children of Israel being in the desert for 40 years, the people who inherited the wealth were the young people,
Mhm.
and so I always say of myself as I am of the Joshua and Caleb generation, because only a few older people got to go into the promised land. It is really the young people that have the wherewithal to conquer, not just technology, but they are the future. And so my job as a grandmother, as a woman, as a Black woman, is to invest in my language, in my heart, in my giving, in my time, so that they can succeed in a way that is profoundly God, so that they can remember who they are. I think as we get older, people forget who they are, Cyrus. And so what you'll find is as people get older, they've experienced too many things that don't look like God because they've been in the wrong vein. And so you have these conversations that are always downward that make me do this, Cyrus. I go, really? You know. But what I love about young people is they're always ready for the answer, the solution. You give them a problem and they're looking for the solution. They're not looking at the problem. They're looking for the answer. And so, yeah.
It's a great reminder, I think, for all of us. Again, everyone, Deborah O'Hunter has been our guest. A wide-ranging conversation with Deborah. Some of that was
Thank you.
unexpected, but hey, it fit perfectly. So I was glad to be able to have you on. Again, she's celebrating her book, A Great Southern Baking, with Deborah O'Hunter, but also 4 children's books. All of them are in the carousel you guys will see below on Amazon. So definitely make sure you guys pick those up. Perfect time of year for all of it. So make sure you guys do get the new cookbook. You can get the Kindle edition there, I think, for $3.99. I'm going to go ahead and highlight it again there, Deborah, so they can see it there. There it is. I got highlighting it right now for those on Amazon for $3.99. You can see it below. A great edition. I told Deborah this is the perfect thing for them to download to their phone, download to their tablet, to be able to take with them no matter where they're going. They don't have to take a cookbook physically with them where they're
Yeah.
going. Everything is literally right there at their fingertips where they're spending most of their time anyway. They can have it right there. Deborah, how can they stay connected with you?
Well, please follow me on social media. Cyrus, again, we're still working on our website because I've got so many incredible things coming up in 2020. I'm hoping that the world will get to see a more enlightened, more mature Deborah Hunter moving forward. So I'm excited about what's coming. But on Facebook, we're getting ready to go back to IG, to Instagram. Cyrus, I've been working on that. But just excited. Come on and visit me. You'll see my fan pages, and let's hang out and have a good time.
All right. Well, Deborah, I love you. See, I
I
said
love
it.
you
And
back.
and glad to have you on with us. And looking forward to our next conversation together, Deborah.
Thank you. See you later.
All
Happy
right. You
holidays,
take care.
everybody. Bye-bye.
All right. And we thank you all for watching that episode of Black Friday Deals and Conversations. That was with Deborah L. Hunter, who's celebrating 5 books. 5 books she's released this year, including her new cookbook. You guys see there again. And make sure it's highlighted in the carousel there. Great Southern Baking with Deborah L. Hunter. You guys can get it for only $3.99. Deborah's an amazing woman, an amazing individual, and so glad that we could talk with her today. I want to remind you guys that the Kindles, if you guys need a Kindle, with the Black Friday deals, now is the time to be able to get it. The one that I have here that I have over 300 books on it, it is on sale right now for 30% off. I'm going to go ahead and highlight it again. So it's $34.99. You all can get the new Kindle here on Amazon. Definitely take advantage of that. It's a great deal. And as I said, it's not just about your books. You're able to have your music, able to have your Goodreads, pretty much anything you use. I have my YouTube app on here, anything that you use online. And you can even attach a keyboard using the Bluetooth capability and to be able to type on it just like you're browsing the internet on your laptop or desktop. You can do the same thing right now on your tablet. Again, it's on sale right now today for Black Friday for $34.99. That's 30% off. Also, you guys have seen me again, and I had some questions earlier about this, which is why I wanted to keep showing it to you guys. The holder that I use for my shows, this is on sale right now for Black Friday as well. It is $19.19. That's 20% off, and it holds not only your phone but also your laptop too. So you'll notice, you'll see the button that's there. You can adjust it to the height that you need it to be for whatever it is that you're doing. Even if you're using it for your laptop, you can just lock it into place there and to be able to have the pieces there to be able to put your laptop on. Also, you can have it for your phone. I use mine vertically, but you can use it horizontally too. It just twists there. You lock it in here. And you'll notice it has a little shaft there to be able to hold your phone or tablet so you don't have to worry about it falling off. Again, it tightens really easy. All you do is to turn the middle part, and then that keeps it in place. So you don't have to worry about your phone falling off or your tablet falling off as well. We're gearing up at the top of the next hour here. Have two other great guests that'll be joining us. Actually, our next guest is making her first appearance with us on Amazon Live. I was introduced to her from a mutual friend. We're excited to welcome educator Lakeisha Williams to our program. And go ahead and highlight the book here on Amazon that she's a part of. She also has a children's book that's coming out soon. We're going to talk to her about that. But the book that is currently on Amazon is this one, Still I Thrive. It's $2.99 for the Kindle edition today. So you guys can go ahead and one-click that today. Also, the paperback edition is on there for $21.99. We're going to talk to Lakeisha not only about her journey that she shares as an educator, but also what it's like for her to let her own light shine as well. Lakeisha, glad to have you on with us. Thanks a lot for the time.
Hello, thank you for having me today.
Lakeisha, I'm excited to have you here. I want to let our audience know, if you guys are just joining us here at the top of this hour, you all are watching Black Friday Deals and Conversations here on Amazon Live. I'm your host for this segment, Cyrus Webb. You all can see below the book that our next guest is actually a contributor to. As I mentioned, she has a children's book that's coming out soon as well. But Lakeisha, it's great to be able to speak with you today here on Amazon Live and also our other streaming services. I want to talk about this journey of shining for you, because one thing that you talk about in your chapter of this book, Still I Thrive, is how you were able to keep shining and thriving in spite of challenges. What has that been like for you to be able to share with other people?
It's amazing for me to share with other people. I believe in the power of storytelling. And when we think about the word testimonial, you know, what makes something a testimonial, right? You had to have been tested, right? You had to have persevered and come through. And then most importantly, your willingness to share your story. So I actually look forward to sharing my story in the hopes of, you know, inspiring other people and uplifting other people and helping them to see that, you know, it is a possibility for them to persevere and remain resilient and get through whatever it is that they may be going through so that we can all shine together.
Yeah. Shine On Brown Girl is the title of your upcoming children's book. We talked about it a bit in another conversation. Lakeisha, I want to talk about, though, for young people. Why has it been such an important message for you to share with them about the importance of shining?
For young people, it is absolutely critical. We know that when we think about all of the research that speaks to children and how they're able to persevere themselves through things, we have to make sure that we are affirming our children every day. We have to make sure that we are the role models for our children, and we have to make sure that we are supporting our children so that they may be able to achieve, you know, everything that they set for themselves. As a principal, you know, I work with very young children, And anytime you speak to children, children are always hopeful about their life and their futures and the things that they want to do with themselves. But something gets in the way. And what gets in the way oftentimes is adults, right? Adults and their biases and prejudices and the stereotypes that we like to subscribe to our children, especially our marginalized communities. So it was very important to me as a principal, based on my lived experiences in my school with my children, because I do work in a Title I school, which basically means that, you know, that's a community that needs a lot of additional supports. And in order for my children to be able to shine and make it through, it is absolutely imperative. In fact, it's a moral imperative that I make sure that I am, you know, leading the way and leading the charge and making sure that our children know that anything, and I mean anything that they want to do, is absolutely possible.
Yeah. One of the comments that's coming in, and we appreciate you guys joining us not only on Amazon Live, but also there on Facebook and YouTube and Twitter. Someone says she does it in real life, not just on paper. Such an amazing friend and woman. You know, and this is something that we've heard a lot from about you, Lakeisha. You know, you and I, as I mentioned, we were on another platform doing a conversation, and people were talking about you even in the comments. How does it feel to know that you've been able to inspire people just by being yourself?
I'm humbled. I'm definitely humbled by it. As I shared earlier, I do, you know, in the other broadcast with you, I do believe in God. I believe in a higher being. And I believe that He puts each of us here on this earth for many different reasons. And so you know, with the challenges that I personally experienced, you know, I just believe that, you know, I'm the vessel that God is using to help other people. And so it's definitely a part of my fabric. You know, I share my story freely and willingly because, again, we are all here on this earth together. And I just believe in living out the words, I am my brother's keeper, I am my sister's keeper, just making sure that I do my part, right? I think that sometimes people become overwhelmed if we think that, you know, we can solve all of the problems that society has, but I'm very big on just do your part. And if you're doing your part and you're adding value, then that really and truly does make the difference.
It does. We're going to let our audience know how they can stay connected with you at the end of our broadcast today, Lakeisha, as well as how they can get autographed copies of the book. But how did you become a part of the anthology Still I Thrive? How did that come about?
Okay, so the lead author, P.K. Kersey, he reached out to me. He had did some work in my school because I am a community leader. So if we want stronger schools, right, we have to have stronger communities and stronger families. So I had did some work with P.K. Kersey in my school with my Brother's Keeper chapter that I have in my building for my boys. And he reached out to me at a later date and asked if I wanted to be a part of the Still I Thrive anthology project. And of course, you know, the funny thing is, you know, I had actually started writing my story about 20 years ago. I never got a chance to like finish it. But when I saw this opportunity, I said, wow, you know, I'm definitely going to take the opportunity now and I'll use it as a springboard to continue to write. But it was an amazing experience to be a part of this project.
Yeah. Like I said, we're going to let them know how they can be able to get autographed copies as well. I want to talk about something that you mentioned in your chapter. And for those who are just now finding it here on Amazon Live, her chapter is shining through the 2020 pandemic. As I mentioned, the Kindle edition there is only $2.99. But you said this in your chapter, Lakeisha, and we'll talk a bit about it. And it kind of goes to the dual messages of education and community. You said, how was I able to effectively lead my school community and shine through a global pandemic? I had to first get my emotional and physical well-being together. I was now home every day after working an average of 12-hour days for almost 2 years and attending a variety of community meetings and events. My work schedule was hectic. I was never home. My goal as a new principal was to network as much as possible so that my school could receive much needed resources, programs, and services. But working at that pace was beginning to take a toll on my health. New York City shutdown meant that I was at home more than I ever was in my adult life. It was a perfect opportunity for me to focus on my mental state and overall health. I want to talk about that because we're hearing more and more conversations about this now, and I'm so glad you put this in the book. How important was it for you to realize that you needed to protect your peace, to find that place for yourself mentally where you could make sure that you were good, Lakeisha, so you could help other people?
It's not cliche when we hear that you can't pour from an empty cup.
Mhm.
Right? You absolutely cannot pour from an empty cup. And I do not subscribe to working yourself to death in order for you to, feel accomplished or feel that you're making a difference, right? It is not selfish to focus on self-care. And that's not something that you only do during your vacation, if you even take a vacation. But I believe that it's something you should definitely practice every day, right? And whatever that may be for you. For those who know me, they know I love music. Often I say that music is my best friend. I love to dance, and those are the things that bring me joy in addition to spending time with, my loved ones. But it's absolutely critical, and we should not feel guilty for taking care of ourselves because that is the only way that you can take care of others. When you are pouring from your cup, the overflow, right? That's what other people should receive from you. Like they should receive the overflow.
I love that. I love that. And you've been able to share that in a variety of ways. What I love about you, and you and I literally just connected, I mean, within a very short period of time, but I feel like I've known you now forever. Isn't that true? You meet people and you're like, do we really just meet each other?
We're,
Um,
we're kindred spirits.
there you go. There you
My
go. But
family
one
is
thing
from the South, so
right. Hey,
some
there
Southern
you
roots
go.
here.
So, but I wanted to ask you about social media because I love the fact that you're able to take us, like even this week, right? You're going being again a servant. I saw your stories yesterday where you were out there serving. You're serving with school, you're serving in your community in other ways. But I can tell the joy you get from that. So I wanted to ask you, what is it like for you to feel that love coming back at you, Lakeisha? What is it like for you to feel that appreciation people have for you? Just doing what comes naturally for you.
It's amazing. It really and truly is amazing. And again, I really and truly feel as though I'm living what many people speak about. Right.
Mm.
I had the opportunity to serve yesterday with one of the assembly women from my district, Alicia Hyman, and she was thanking me. I said, well, it's a part of what I feel we have to do. It's a part of the job. And she said, well, everybody doesn't see it that way. But the reality is, if we're not working with machines, right? And when we think about the social injustices that take place in our society and in our communities, and oftentimes, people are able to think back to because I'm a historian, right? So people oftentimes think back to different things that happened in history, and they're like, oh, if I was there, I would have done this or I would have done that. But you know what? You're actually living in history now, right? We see the injustices that take place every day. And again, this is the time now for you to do something about it. So when I look at my community at large, again, this is my way of making sure that I am a part of that change. I'm a part of the charge. I'm a part of what I oftentimes like to say, changing the narrative. It is up to us. If there are things taking place in our communities that we don't agree with, we don't like, again, we have to come together and no, not one person can do it all, right? But that's why we partner with different people so that each of us, within our own space of excellence, right? Each of us are giving back and each of us are making a difference, in a positive way. But collectively, right? Imagine all of that greatness and those skills and talents coming together to make sure, like just using yesterday as an example, one of the events was someone focusing on actual health and wealth, right? Making sure that we're eating healthy. I'm not an expert in that area, but guess what? I was able to partner with someone who is. So again, community over competition, right? Someone I know speaks to that a lot. It's just everyone coming together and harnessing the greatness that resides in each of us in order for us to be the change. Like we have to be the change. I oftentimes say, like, who are we waiting for to come and save us? Like, we can't wait for other people to come and save us. We have to save us. And so it really and truly brings me joy. Like, honestly, you know, I love being amongst my people. I love supporting my children. I love supporting my families, and just being a part of the necessary change that we know we need within our society.
That's a great point. T, I want to thank you for joining us over there on Amazon Live. T says, if it is to be, it is up to we. Really stressing that teamwork. And Rose Graham here on Facebook says, good job, Principal Williams. So she's singing your praises there. So we have to talk about Shine On, a Brown Girl. That is the book that's coming. So we have that to look forward to. How did you come up with the idea for that book?
So during the latest election, when Kamala Harris became vice president elect, you know, I was excited. And you're talking about a woman who's very educated, right? Career woman. And it did something for me inside, right? So representation, we know how critically important that is. And I was excited, and as many other Black and brown women were. And I came upon the poem Brown Girl, Brown Girl on social media. And I'm always doing different things with my children. And so I said, you know what? I'm going to go back to my school, and I'm going to do an activity with the poem with my Black and brown children who are in my school community. And I did the poem, I shared it on social media, again, like I always do. And the video went viral. And there were millions of people who were not happy with the fact that I, did an affirming activity with Black and brown girls. And unfortunately, I experienced threats to my life. People were calling the school, blogging about me, saying negative things. I actually had to file a police report with the 67th precinct near my school community. But the flip side of that were the millions of people where it resonated around the world. I mean, they wrote about that in a paper in India. An Italian news station reached out to me. They wrote about me in New York City. We were on, Channel 7 News, Channel 11 News. So what that said to me was, with all of the advancements and all of the accomplishments that we have made within this country and around the world, Black and brown women still feel invisible, right? We still feel invisible. And talking about our children in particular, it was very important to me. And I realized at the time that I needed to do more. So I just have this thing in me where it's like, what else can I do? What else can I do? And I said, let me take this experience and make sure that that Black and brown children around the world are able to see themselves in literature, right? Because it is the messages that our children must hear each and every day if we want them to really and truly get to the top of Maslow's hierarchy of needs, that self-actualization, right? They have to first feel good about themselves. And so Shine On Brown Girl is going to be a series of stories, real life stories that our children experience. So sure, we have a lot of books out here that feature Black and brown children, but not necessarily their stories, their own personal stories. And so I want children to be able to pick up books with characters who look like them and characters who are going through very similar experiences as them.
Love that. And we're going to, as I mentioned, we're going to be letting our audience know here, Lakeisha, how they can stay connected with you and, of course, keep up with all the updates through your website, where they can get autographed copies, but also, of course, be able to find you on social media. What is your hope as people right now, as they're tuning in here, as they're doing their Black Friday shopping, Lakeisha, they see the book there, Still I Thrive, they pick it up, get to your chapter. What do you hope it does for them in helping them to see how they can thrive in their lives?
Yes, I am hoping that, as a result of reading my chapter in particular, that people are able to know that if they're in a transitional period in their lives, then it's just that. It's a moment in time, right? But it behooves them to tap into the strengths that they do possess, to tap into a different source, whatever it is that they connect with that gives them hope, right? Maintain their faith, focus on their vision, which is their future, but then, of course, taking the necessary steps in order for them to be able to get through that transitional period. Because that is something that I found more so than ever before as a principal. You know, when you've experienced it, and I have personally experienced it, you know, I think oftentimes we forget how critically important lived experiences are, right? And so I have personally lived through so many challenges. Like, you got to invite me back, you know, plenty more times to hear more about what I personally experienced. But because I've lived it, like, I know how it is. I know how difficult it can be. And so it is my hope to bring people that hope. So shout out to Michelle Obama, but I said it first, right? The power of hope. Because it's so, like, without hope, we're dead. Like, we're nothing when people lose hope, right? And all of the research that we read around poverty, which is man-made, right? And criminal statistics, all of that goes back to if we really research all of the psychology reports about why crime happens, it's because people lose hope. And I don't want people to lose hope. So the books are also going to be the springboard to the continued workshops that I am going to offer people to help them get through their transitional periods in life so that they can, you know, achieve all of their goals that they set for themselves so they can be successful and shine. So it's not only important for me to have made it through, for me to have, you know, quote unquote, made it, but I want to help as many people as possible that I can to make it.
Mhm. And I think that's it. And I think, as you talk about in the book, and some of the other accounts do as well, no matter what challenge we're talking about, we just so happens we're talking about what we're dealing with the pandemic, of course, at this point. But no matter what the challenge is, being able to meet the moment, right? And I think that's the big thing too for all of us. Rose also said, "Thanks for the reminder that we must keep hope alive at all times." And I think that's it. You know, I referenced the IG that you did this past week, Lakeisha, but it's very obvious. Anyone who's scrolling through your page online will see you don't just do this for holidays. This is just who you are. I can tell you like to go to the games. You like to be there to support support the kids. I mean, you're that person that they're cheering for other people, and I think that's what all of us can learn from. Again, everyone, Lakeisha Williams has been our guest. The book is Still I Thrive. She has a chapter that's in there, but you have an opportunity though to get a personalized copy as well. Lakeisha, let them know how they can do that.
Yes, please go to my website. I also formed the company during the pandemic. So, like I said earlier, I can continue to help other people. So, go to my website, www.brickhouseunlimited.com, and there you will be able to receive your book with my name on it, and I will personally sign it for you. And you could also subscribe to some consulting services. And I am here to support anyone, regardless of the space that they may be in their lives right now so that all of us can shine together.
Love that. Love that. Lakeisha, last thing I want to ask you, and I appreciate this time, you're being a part of our Black Friday deals and conversations. What advice would you give to people who don't see the hope? They don't feel the hope. What would you say to them about the importance of not giving up now?
Um, I'm going to say again that we have to breathe, right? We have to breathe. And I would say to people to, like, feel whatever emotions you're feeling, but know that it is a moment, like it's a temporary moment in time, and tap into your tribe, whoever that may be. And sometimes I think what happens to us in life is we may want it to be family or close friends or significant other. And so then we may feel alone if we don't have those people, right? But it could be anybody. It could be friends. It could be, you know, someone who you just met that you're inspired by. Get
Right.
a tribe, right? Find those people who speak your language, who get you, right? Because if people are bent on misunderstanding you, then they will, right? But focus on those people who truly love and appreciate you. Tap into your tribe and take it one day at a time. But I'm definitely going to say that mentors are important, and that's what somebody like myself is able to serve as. We were not designed to, you know, go through life alone, no matter what anyone may say. We're just not built like that. So I'm definitely available to help anyone. Again, just to repeat, it is okay to embrace your emotions and how you're feeling in that moment. But please tap into the resource that you have, whatever it is you may believe in, find your tribe and get you a mentor, someone who has been through that, right? Get you someone who has the lived experiences, who can talk to you from a personal place and help you be able to make it through.
Love that. Love that message. Tina Seaman says, "Great inspiration to keep hope alive," and that is so true. I think that's it, and we all need it. And I think you never grow out of needing it, right? I mean, I
No.
think no matter what we feel like we've achieved or whatever, I mean,
Mhm.
it's we all are still living this experience called life together, and every day challenges will come. It really is up to us to meet them. So thank you so much, Lakeisha, for
Mhm.
showing us how we can meet them. Again, everyone, Lakeisha Williams has been our guest. Lakeisha, appreciate you and looking forward to our next conversation together.
Yes, I would just ask everyone to follow me on Instagram at principal_shine on Lakeisha. And thank you so much for having me today.
You're more than welcome. My pleasure. My pleasure. And we thank all of you for tuning in to this episode of Black Friday Deals and Conversations with Lakeisha Williams. Again, she is one of the contributors in Still I Thrive. You guys see it there. But she has an upcoming children's book that will be coming soon, Shine On Brown Girl. So make sure you guys are looking out for that. We have had an amazing 2.5 hours already today. And keep in mind, I'm going to be here for 8 hours with you guys today, which I'm kind of excited about, which is kind of odd. But we have another great guest coming up at the bottom of the hour. So you guys look forward to that. Want to tell you guys as we are sharing with you some of these Black Friday deals to not to forget the things literally right in front of you. As I mentioned, if you guys are looking for a Kindle, now is the time to be able to get you one. The Kindle that I personally have is the one here. It is the Kindle 7, as I mentioned. It is on sale right now for 30% off. 30% off on Black Friday. It is $34.99. Great. I have, like I mentioned, over 300 books on mine. You're able to have not only your books, but also your Amazon Music, your Goodreads. I have my YouTube app on here. Anything you could typically do on your tablet, you can be able to do on this tablet. Anything you can do on your laptop, you can do here. You can even add a keyboard to it that is Bluetooth compatible to make it really easy to be able to do your typing and everything with it. But again, it is 30% off the Kindle 7 tablet. $34.99 is the price at the time of this conversation. Also, I shared with you guys earlier, you guys are looking for a phone holder or a holder for your laptop. This is my laptop stand that I use. I use it for both my phone, my tablet, and even sometimes for my laptop, even though right now I have my laptop sitting flat. You guys can see it there. Really cool. If you guys notice here, the button, you just press that and you're able to bend it as you need it. So if you want it more upright, you can do it that way. If you're doing it for your laptop, you have the feet that's there. Be able to widen it out like that. Be able to have it for your laptop. Really sturdy design. And as I mentioned, I typically have my phone going vertically. As you guys can see there, it can be turned horizontally as well. And you'll see the little ledge there. Makes it very easy for as a holder to be able to keep your phone or your tablet from falling off. So it's a really good value. Again, $19.99 at the time that we're having this conversation as part of our Black Friday deals. Coming up at the bottom of the hour, I'll be speaking with Nancy Matthews. She had a new edition of her book out this year. Going to invite you guys to be able to get it. Also, I'll be telling you about the other programming that we have that's coming up. Really excited about that as well. As I mentioned, all throughout the day, I'll be with you guys here on Amazon Live for Black Friday deals and conversations. I was with you guys earlier today showing you how to get organized as you're going into your Black Friday shopping. Also, we'll be showing you a little bit later some of the great things we have for kids, whether we're talking about from DC or Marvel. Excited to be sharing those. For the home, I have some great products from the company Bedshore and Scott Living. Have some great affordable options from Scott Living right here on Amazon. That's going to be coming up. You guys, we'll be right back with you. I want to show you this great thing that I've been using here at my house. It's called Damp Rid. If you guys have been in a situation where you're having those rooms that are picking up that moisture, this is the perfect item for you guys to be able to get. Take a look at this. I'll be right back with you guys with more Black Friday deals and conversations. All right, folks, if you are like me and you have had a problem with a musty smell in your room or in your closet, I tried the Damp Rid Moisture Absorbers. I got the 3-pack. These are hanging bags. Now, let me tell you something about these. I had not used them before. I was looking for a way to take the dampness out of the room as well as to be able to get a better smell up in there. So I bought the 3-pack. So when you take them out, as you can see, this is what one looks like. You can see the crystals there at the top. At the bottom is where the water will be taking out the moisture, right? So you can see how this one looks. There's not a lot of moisture in that one. And that's how you're able to tell. As you can see on the box, you can see how the water, it builds up there at the bottom. Well, let me show you what happened in my guest bedroom to really show you how effective this is. Watch this. All right, so this is the Damp Rid that's in my guest bedroom. Look at all of that water, guys. This one's hanging in the closet of my guest bedroom. So you can see the crystals are there, not as many as in the other one, but you can see what's happening there. It's trapping the moisture, bringing it into the bottom of the bag. Definitely something that is effective. If you're looking for a way to be able to create a fresher room and to take out that extra moisture, as you can see, the Damp Rid works. And that is something that I've been using now for about a year. It is really cool right now. It's not on a Black Friday deal, but you guys will notice it in the carousel there. A great way for you guys to be able to, again, to eliminate that musty smell that can be in your room sometime. And also to do it affordably. I love the fact that it lasts about a month, the actual crystals that you see there. So as the crystals go down, you know it's time to be able to swap it out. So a great thing to be able to check out. It is now the bottom of the hour. I'm excited to welcome Nancy Matthews to our program today. Nancy is an author of a book. I'm going to go ahead and highlight it in the carousel for you guys. There it is, The One Philosophy. I want to talk to Nancy not only about the re-release of the book, but also what it's been like for her to share the message with all of you guys. Nancy, great to have you on with us.
Hello, hello, hello. So happy to be here.
Well, Nancy, this is, I should say, you and I have had several conversations on the radio side. This is our first time having you on Amazon Live, so I'm excited about this. We actually have the Kindle edition, Nancy, of your book there for $3.99. We have the print edition also for $11.99. I want to talk about the messaging, though, of The One Philosophy for you, Nancy. What led you to initially write the book?
So it was one of those wake-up call moments you get, like epiphanies that come on to me. And what happened was I was about to have a meeting with a prospective client who wanted to write a book. And as I was getting ready for the meeting, I was thinking about, wow, she's also on our local TV news. Maybe she's going to help me get a TV show started. And, oh, I better make sure I learn about her and pay close attention. And she could be the one. And I was like, isn't that interesting? How when we think someone is the one, we pay more attention, we listen more closely, we place a higher value on people who we think are the ones that are going to do something for us. And when I realized that, I was like, well, that didn't feel good, So because in my heart, everyone has value, everyone has meaning. And I've always believed that like our purpose of human connection is to be present with each other and like discover what's the magic of this moment. Yeah. And so from that, I started an experiment of treating every single person that I meet with that same level of curiosity, excitement, and interest, every single person, just to see. Yeah. And it was miracle after miracle after miracle. Wow. In connections, in great moments together. And just it let me see that when we treat everyone as the one, the beautiful magic of what's available to us in life shows up.
Nancy, I love that. Thank you so much for sharing that story. I think the thing about this is it goes to something that's kind of been a theme of today's show on the conversation side.
Mhm.
is that all of us want to be seen, right? All of us want
Right.
people to see our value. It's not something that is readily seen, unfortunately, from others. When did you realize your own value, Nancy? When did you realize that you had something to offer?
Yeah, that's an interesting continuous unfoldment. Is how I would say it. You know, there's a piece of honoring the fact that I'm here, I have certain gifts and talents, and bringing them
Mm,
to the world and sharing and honoring the gifts that God gave us, right? Like
right.
there's a piece in that, and then sometimes it crosses over into boastful and
Mm,
not being humble, and so there's a delicate balance of being
I love
able
that.
to claim I am totally freaking awesome,
Yeah,
and so are you.
yeah. You know what? That is a conversation all to itself.
Yeah.
I mean, it is a balancing act, right? And I think, unfortunately, people either go to one extreme or the other, and they
Mm,
either don't see enough of their own value or see too much of themselves and what they offer, and don't see enough in other people. But I love the fact you said something, and I think that leads to why you decided to re-release the One Philosophy. Did you always know it was going to be a journey? That there wasn't going to be like one day you just got there? Did you always know this was a day by day process?
no, no. I think that's one of the fallacies of success as it's presented, and a lot of the training we get. Oh, when I get here, everything's going to be perfect. When I get here, everything's going to be perfect. Well, how about if everything's perfect right now?
Yeah.
And then we experience it in different ways and we get lessons. But um, I think one of the best lessons around all of this comes from the teachings of yoga, for example. So
Mm.
you can do yoga for 30 years, 40 years, 50 years, and be at a high level. And yogis still call it the practice of yoga.
Yeah. Yeah. So I want to talk about for yourself then what it's been like for you to see the response, because you are. I should mention this, that Nancy is not just an author; she's a speaker. She's an entrepreneur herself. What has it been like for you to see people get it?
Mm. To see people get the message of the one philosophy,
Right.
or this
Hmm.
it is so satisfying from the perspective of, I believe my life's work is
Gotcha.
to be the light, share the light, and show people how to be more love towards themselves and each other. And it's like, all right, I'm doing my little part of God's work. Okay, that's
Mm.
good. Yeah.
Yeah. Wow. And it's definitely coming through. A lot has been going on this year. You've been busy this year as well.
Mhm.
Why did you feel like this was the time, Nancy, to re-release the One Philosophy?
It came on the heels of so much, like here in the United States, I'll just say, we had all the discord around the election and the
Mhm.
division, and people had, families and friendships breaking apart
Yeah.
because of such opposite views. And then all of the issues here as it pertains to Black Lives Matter, and all of that dissension happening. And I was really called upon to update the book and give some additional tools to help people remember who they really are and who they want to be with one another.
Mm.
So it had to happen, and to bring more attention to this conversation, because regardless of your religion, your political views, your skin color, your sexual orientation, regardless of all those things, I would think everyone would agree that when you are just face to face, heart to heart with another human being, that we can find the commonality and the common thread. We all want to be happier. We all want to experience more love. No matter where you are on those opinions and beliefs, we all want more love and happiness. And
Right.
treating and being the one for each other is the way to get there.
You know, I was thinking about when I was prepping for your segment initially, Nancy, that this has become bigger than a book. It has become a conversation piece, but it also reminds us that it's a way of life. Did it feel like that from the very beginning, or is that what it has evolved into?
It felt like it from the very beginning, from
Okay.
my own experience of growing into it. And then, so I started teaching and sharing this message way before the book was written. And
Gotcha.
everybody would go, when I talked about it, I give these presentations and I'm giving great marketing strategies and time management and sales and speaking. Like I'm giving all these great strategies. And I would say to people on the exit surveys, so what did you like best? The one thing that you were talking about. I'm like, well, what about all this great content? The one, yeah, that was good. The one. I really try to be that. I want to be more that.
Wow.
Time after time. And that's what caused the book to be created. That's what caused me to do additional trainings on the One Philosophy. And ultimately, I just launched something called the People Skills Academy. Because the only thing that stops us from being the one for each other and treating each other as the one is we need better people skills, how to be with each other, how to deal with conflict. And I just want to say, Cyrus, the platform that you have created gives voice and gives space to these conversations. And it is through conversation that will come together. So I want to honor you and thank you for your commitment, your faith, and this beautiful space that you create.
Well, thank you. I appreciate that, Nancy. I appreciate that. I want to say, because I see you guys coming in on the Amazon Live side as well. I appreciate you guys being with us there on YouTube, Twitter, as well as here on Facebook, too. You all are watching Cyrus Represents here on Amazon Live, part of our Black Friday deals and conversations. This is one of our conversations in this 3-hour block that we're having here with Nancy Matthews. She's the author of the book, The One Philosophy. I have it highlighted in the carousel there. I have the Kindle edition here, Nancy. I was actually going through a section as you were talking. I want to talk to you about, but also the print edition is available as well for $11.99. You guys can get it there. So make sure you guys are doing that. We're going to let you guys know at the end of the segment also how you can stay connected with Nancy. Nancy, I want to talk to you about the way the book is set up, because the subtitle of the book is A Better Life for You and Humanity. Talk to us about that and the correlation of, because I think it's we all have heard the saying, no man is an island, right? So we know we need other people. But talk to us about how these principles help us, but also can then help others.
So anchoring back to when I first started teaching this, and I started my own experiment of treating each and every person I met the same way as I would when I think they're the one, right? So I just started this experiment, and I noticed, like, the exact person that I wanted to meet in order to create a connection to somebody. The exact, I met women, because I'm also the co-founder of Women's Prosperity Network, and the vision of bringing tools, resources, and community for women entrepreneurs. I would meet somebody who says, I have that same vision and I can do this, or I have that same vision and I want to do this. And by treating others as the one, being curious in the moment, it not only has that other person feel valued, like you were talking about, but I believe it's the way that the universe, God, conspires in your favor for your purpose, your dreams, and your visions to be fulfilled, because it will happen through other people. And this pathway of honoring each other is what opens the space for possibility. Because if you think about it, most of us are walking around guarded. Oh yeah? What do you got? Waiting for a shoe to drop, right? But when you show up and treat somebody and let them know they matter and they're important, they relax and they can share what's in their heart. Now their hearts are connecting and the visions are connecting, and that's why it's a better life for you. You will experience a better life, and in doing so, it's for humanity. Now, I want to say this caution, if I may. This is not some trick or magic you're trying to create so that you get what you want. It only happens when you begin by treating others as the one. Everything will show up for you. So it starts with us being of service, providing value first, and trusting that the receiving will follow.
Love that. Love that. So I want to talk about where we are now as we're making this transition. It's hard to believe next week is December, Nancy. I don't know how that happened.
I know. Somebody just posted there's 5 weeks left of the year. I'm like, 5 weeks. Wow.
Yeah, I last year seemed to crawl. This year, literally to me, seemed to fly.
Yeah.
But I wanted to ask because there are people who, and I used to be one of these who said, you know what? Yeah, that sounds great. In January, that's what I'm going to do. You know,
Mm,
I'm gonna wait till let me finish this year out, and then January, that's is what I'm gonna do. Or
mhm.
in this time, yeah, that's when I'll get around to doing that. There seems to be in this book a sense of urgency, and so I want to ask you: have you always felt like you knew you had to make the most of this day when it comes to this philosophy?
So I've always felt that every moment is precious.
Okay.
And it's in this moment that we have power,
Mm.
opportunity, and possibility. And in fact, I don't know if you can see it, there's a tattoo on my arm
Yeah.
and it's upside down. And I was speaking on the One Philosophy in California a few years ago, and I come off the stage, and this gentleman comes up and he shares that what I was speaking about with the One Philosophy is just like the cultural precept and concept in Japan, which is called Ichigo Ichii. And forgive me if I didn't pronounce it perfectly. And the meaning of that is honor this moment in time because this moment is all we ever have.
Wow. Yeah.
So when you talk about, oh, I'll start that in January, like you'll start your diet in January, right? Like it's not exactly the same thing because what if, and here's an invitation to the audience, let's go ahead, take this on. And when you go to the supermarket, when you're going out doing your Black Friday shopping, when you're talking to a customer service rep from whatever it is that you're purchasing, right? If you're
Mhm.
treat them as the one and watch what happens. Because I can promise you, if you don't, well, not much is going to happen.
Yeah. I love
So
that.
seize the moment, seize it right now.
And what I loved about this, and I want to say for full disclosure, when you guys get the paperback of the edition of the book, you'll see I blurbed the back of the new edition here of the One Philosophy. But when I was reading the excerpts, the thing that came to my mind too, Nancy, and which is why I was excited about having this conversation for our Amazon Live audience, and we're going to have this actually clipped for you, Nancy, to put on your product page
Oh,
um,
perfect.
for the One Philosophy too, because
Thank
I
you.
think I think it's an important point to make that if you want to see change in others, it does begin with us. We hear that, but I think in what you just said about when you're going out and dealing with others, about if we don't start making people feel like, because I think that's the big thing here. People don't feel like they're heard. They don't feel like they
Mhm.
matter. They feel like it's the people with the quote unquote power that's really is seen and recognized and liked and shared and all the stuff we do
Yeah.
every day, right? But if we treated everyone like that one, just to think about how that would change the world is really a powerful thought. So is that kind of your charge then every day then in this work that you're doing, Nancy, to challenge us to do just that? If you want to see a change, let the change start with you.
Yeah, absolutely. That is my purpose. That is my vision, mission, and goal. And I do my best to live by that every day. And I get lots of opportunities to practice seeing people. Well, you go some places and you might run into somebody who you perceive as nasty or angry or rude. Like there's all kinds of people that we get presented with the opportunity to be with, right?
Right.
And I really know that my number one job is to be able to move beyond my judgment of another person
Mm.
to see. And I recently started connecting this mission in this way. So imagine, where's my camera? There we go. Imagine I've got a newborn baby in my arms. Newborn, fresh. love, hope, possibility. Each and every one of us is still that and more. So our job is to wipe away the grime that might have gotten on them to cause them to not show up in as much love and kindness. They're hurt, they're angry, things crap has happened, and clear off our own grime to remembering this is who we are.
I love that. I love that. So, I want to ask you about, because you mentioned it, because I think this is important for our audience too, and we're going to let you share with them how they can find out more information about this. This is work that you've been able to help people with, because a lot of times, even in reading a book, even the way the book is laid out, which is beautiful and practical, there are still people who may say, "Yeah, I need help with this though," but I need help. Talk to us about that. What has it been like for you to be able to build really a brand around this philosophy?
It's been amazing and so fulfilling. And that's why I created the People Skills Academy, because people would say, just like you mentioned, I really try to be that way, but this person over here, they're a real jerk, and I can't believe this person stole from me, and this one betrayed me, and that, like, stuff happens. Yeah, I'm not denying that stuff doesn't happen. And when we've got tools, we can move beyond it. So that's why I created the People Skills Academy, and to give those lessons, because where are we picking them up? You have to hope you can find the pathway through these things. So that's what the People Skills Academy is all about. Last week, I was doing a class about the power of our words and the types of language we use in conversation and communication with other people to have them feel empowered. And I was talking about when you want someone to do something, if you want your spouse to do the dishes, or your kids to go to bed, or the customer or the prospect to buy from you, how can you have them feel empowered in giving them the opportunity to make a choice? Because instinctually, if we can make a choice between yes, A and B, then we feel we're in control, and we like that, right? So if you say, "Honey, clean the dishes," or no choice there, it's being forced upon us, right? Or if you say, "Hey, honey, would you rather do the dishes before the football game or after?" The dishes are going to get done, right? Like, that's the bottom line thing. But now you're giving the other person the power of choice. So we went through this class last week, and one of the women shared, she was very pensive, and I was like, "Did you want to share something?" And she said, "Thank you for helping me save my marriage. I didn't realize how I was speaking to my husband. This is going to make a huge difference."
Wow. That's powerful. Nancy, I want to share one thing from the book in Principle 2 of the One Philosophy. And again, I want to say, for those who are just coming in, we appreciate you all. If you are just joining us on the Amazon Live side, you'll notice below there is a follow button there. Feel free to follow us. We have programming here 7 days a week on Amazon Live. Today is special, though. We're on for 8 hours throughout the day today for Black Friday deals and conversations. We're in hour 3 right now.
You're amazing.
I'm celebrating it with Nancy Matthews in this particular segment. We're talking about her book, The One Philosophy. We have it highlighted there in the carousel. The print edition is $11.99, or you guys can get the Kindle edition for only $3.99. You can just click below to be able to read more about it. But in Principle 2 of the book, it's Hold Your Vision and Share it with Others. You write this, Nancy: having a clear vision of what you want and sharing it with others opens the field of possibility for the people who are meant to support and contribute to your vision to come into view. Once again, I urge you to keep your focus on cause and effect in the proper perspective. I want to talk about that because I think this is a lot of times, it kind of goes to that biblical principle of you have not because you ask not. We do have to show up.
Yes.
We have to show up. How important has that showing up been for you and the support for your vision?
So showing up is everything, because you can't just maybe you're familiar with the law of attraction. And one time I was with John Assaraf, and he was speaking about the law of attraction. He's like, where most people get the law of attraction wrong is they forget about the law of Goya, which is get off your Not sure I'm allowed to say it.
Right. Gotcha.
So the vision lives inside of you. The way it gets activated and brought to life is by you taking some action step. It's not you just don't sit and wish, and everything's going to come to you. Like it's a partnership with God, with the universe. We've got to do our part.
Yeah. Love that. And I think that's the big thing for our audience here, is to realize that can start today, that you can make that conscious decision. And the One Philosophy is one of the things that can definitely help you with that. For those who are just hearing about the book, Nancy, what is your hope that it does for them by the time they finish it?
That it will heal broken relationships, that it will open up new avenues of opportunity and possibility for fulfillment of what your desires and your purpose and passion is. So that's what I hope it does for you. And then I also want you to just be the light as we light each other up along the way.
Love that. Again, everyone, Nancy Matthews has been our guest. Make sure you guys get the One Philosophy for yourself, either the Kindle edition or the print edition. I just realized I owe you a review. I don't have a review written on here.
Oh yeah, do that. Yeah, everybody write a review. And I have something special for Black Friday if you want to share about it.
Okay, sure.
So everyone who gets the book today from Amazon, just go ahead and forward the receipt to me. Like say, hey Nancy, here's my receipt. And I'm going to give you access to a course I created called Receiving Your Riches.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
And we'll share that throughout the day for you, Nancy.
Yeah.
That's awesome. That's awesome.
Yeah, so just send me the receipt and I'll give you access to this course, which is phenomenal. People have created massive amounts of money, quite frankly, in this 30-day period when you do the course.
Awesome. Again, everyone, Nancy Matthews has been our guest. Nancy, how can they stay connected with you as well?
You can email Nancy at nancymatthews.com. Go to my website. I'm very Googleable, so just look for me. You'll find me, and I would love that.
There you go. Nancy, thank you so much for being part of our Black Friday deals and conversations, and looking forward to our next conversation together.
Me too. Thank you. Have a wonderful day. Thank you.
Hey, thank you. Thank you,
Bye.
Nancy. And we thank you, our audience, for tuning in to this episode of Black Friday Deals and Conversations. Nancy Matthews with our guest, rounding off our third hour for this set. During this 3-hour period, we had 6 amazing guests that joined us here on Amazon Live. We kicked everything off with Dawn Marie Westmoreland discussing her workbook about workplace bullying and discrimination. Then we had Lisa George on with us discussing her book, Celebrating Life, Celebrating You. In our second hour, we had Mary Ellen Saganovich on, who's celebrating her new book out this week on Amazon, Truth Lives, her third book. And also after that, we had Deborah L. Hunter, who flipped the table around on me a little bit and interviewed me a little bit before we got into her new cooking book, Great Southern Baking, with Deborah L. Hunter. She also has children's books that I shared with you guys earlier that are also on Amazon. She released 4 children's books this year and a cooking book, cookbook. So they are all available. Hey, Jenny, thank you so much for the follow there on Amazon Live. And then in the third hour, we had Lakeisha Williams on. She's a part of the anthology Still I Thrive. And we just wrapped up our third hour here with Nancy Matthews with her book, The One Philosophy. And as you guys heard her say, if you guys want free access to that course, you know what to do. Be able to make your purchase today on Amazon. You can get the Kindle edition for $3.99, or you can get the print edition for the One Philosophy for $11.99 there. Make sure you guys send her that receipt so you guys can get that free gift here on Black Friday. Well, I'm going to be back with you guys here in a couple of hours for more Black Friday deals and conversations. We're coming up next with ideas for the kids. We get to pull out Spider-Man, Batman, Black Panther, and also a drone and some remote control cars as well. I'll be sharing all of that with you guys here later on Amazon.com in our Amazon Live broadcast here at Cyrus Webb Presents. Until then, I'm your host, Cyrus Webb, saying thank you so much for watching us. I'll be back with you all soon. Take care.